here pretty soon. His granddaughter was receiving an award through the FFA at the high school, and they're having a meeting at the House building, I think, or somewhere. And he was going to go for that, and it was starting at 6 o'clock as well. So he should be here by the time we get started good, I hope. But
I'd like to
amend the agenda.
Yes, sir, to add for informational purposes, the election building and the transfer station, recycle.
Would make that number 9.
What? 9?
I got
12.
12.
Well, I guess we got a back sheet. It'll be 13 then.
Well,
Yeah.
11.
12. Yeah, I didn't look at the back sheet.
13.
I want to ask to amend it as well. We have a couple that's down at number 7, but they've got an Arcan meeting to go to with the fire departments. And if we could move them up to right after our status report. And we'll put them first before any proclamations or whatever.
And also Jamie too, he's got.
Okay. Be fine to move Jamie up right after they get through then. I know they gotta travel, so if you'll mark that down.
So 12 is, go over the, 12 is what?
The election building.
It just,
Election building,
information on the election building.
Okay.
clear up Ramblers and the recycle station would be number 13 again.
And then moving seven up to basically 5. We'll do it before any proclamations and that board appointments and that kind of thing. Okay. Is that all? Does anybody else have a?
Are you wanting to appoint Tony?
Tony, yeah.
Okay.
We've got on here
Oh, yeah, okay.
but it's not, I guess,
Yeah.
we usually have, who it is, but yeah.
4G.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, our approval of previous meeting minutes. Everybody should have received them. Everybody good with them?
Yes.
Any changes, questions? All right, they're on the consent agenda, Don. Our personnel status report. It usually stays pretty much the same, and I can't even find it, so it must be the same. Anybody got any questions on that?
no.
We're have 197 employees, and we are staffed with 191, so there's 6. So, everybody good with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, put that on the consent agenda. And then before we go into board appointments and things, number 4, proclamations, we will start with some of these that we needed to move in respect to their time and meetings that they have to go to. So we will let Mr. Jerry Kaiser and Ansel Smith, they have something to bring forward, so y'all come on up.
All y'all have a map in front of you. It's the landfill area over in Back Valley. And what we're wanting to do is for y'all to let us have some of the property there to build a public safety training center on that property. And you can see the 2 red buildings is where we're thinking about building it. And we had to have at least 2 acres. So it'll pretty well take care of that area right there. That's kind of where Spencer's trailer was before. You can't disturb anything above that. Of course, the sheriff's department's got over on the corner, they've got their firing range and stuff, but this will be a public safety training for everyone, not just one. And it's also going to help us, when we get it built, will help us tremendously on ISO. It's worth 35 points for every fire department, not just one, it's for every one of them. And that means a lot on your ratings. We got a kind of a dead area, and that's why we're wanting to do that. We've got a dead area on Back Valley Road that Rising Pond and us cover, but it's out of our 5-mile range on both of us. So there's an area there that people's insurance. But we'd like to get y'all's permission to get this property and so we can get started trying to figure out how we're going to get it built and how we're going to fund it.
Now, does anybody know how much acreage is in that? I mean, what's happened looking at the sheriff's office, the blue building up here, in between those 2, is the old landfill.
Right, that's where they have the skeet shooting for the kids over there and stuff on top of the hill.
Yeah.
And you
Is-
can't, it can't be disturbed.
Did y'all find out, Mr. Kaiser, what a setback would be off of that? I mean, is there enough?
Yeah, there's enough there for us. I don't know what the
I'm sure there
setback
have to
would
be something between where you can and where you can't, I guess.
I don't know. Billy went over and looked at it with us, and I mean, it's like probably 20 feet, 25 feet off of it, so it's not, as long as we're not close.
It's more than that.
Is it?
There's a big ditch on that has a catch and you run off from that
Oh, okay.
park and all, and it's ditched a certain way, and it's a good ways back. This is where
Okay.
the original county shop, where they worked on all the equipment and in the area back through there. From that part down, all the way back to nearly Daniels Road and all the way down to Back Valley to the property y'all just sold as well, is a non-disturbed area.
Okay. And I understand there's a chance, if this is done, that there may be a vehicle station or fire.
We have a
fire
vehicle
apparatus.
ready to be stationed there. We've got one that'll be put there when we get our building up. We won't have to be buying no equipment.
Yeah.
So, yay.
Yeah.
Everybody smiles, okay.
Not tonight.
We do have we have a piece of
You
equipment.
mean
put
not
there.
tonight?
Huh?
Not tonight?
No, not tonight. No, we won't have to buy one, period, so.
Okay.
Are you asking the county to deed the property over to you?
No,
or
no.
to Allow someone, such as be built or used or something?
Yeah.
The 2 acres, as long as the county don't subdivide any of that and they leave it all county property, even though the sheriff's office and we put more stuff on there, that whole 60 acres will still count as long as the county don't try to sell any of it.
All right, so would it be in the form of a lease then, or?
We want this a county training facility. We don't want nothing given to us. It's county equipment, county stuff.
So it'd still be.
It's be the
owned and
county's.
Operated by the
We
county.
just want to be able to build
Yeah.
something for the county.
Yeah, we don't wanna, we want the county to keep the property, we don't,
It'd be basically the same agreement we made with the sheriff's department for their,
right,
for their shooting range or simulator.
isn't that right?
There's 62.93 acres over there on that property.
Usable acres?
No,
Okay, that's everything.
that's everything, but we're just saying an area that's usable to actually dig and put stuff into it.
Yeah, Billy went over and looked at it, and he's gonna, as soon as y'all say yes or whatever, he's gonna dig a couple of, places and make sure everything's good.
Yeah.
So
And
we'll know where to
who's
start.
responsible for the building? The county or?
We ain't got to that yet.
We're looking at doing we're looking at doing this public safety center, and we're in the process of talking to different people for the building, but we didn't want to get too involved if we didn't have a place to land it.
Right.
So that'll come later on in another month or two once we find a building and stuff. But we're
Well-
just trying to find land to put it on right now.
Yeah, I understand that. It's kind of hard to say, okay, but then the building's, like, we don't know
What do you mean? What do you need?
how much it's gonna be.
That's what we're working on.
We're working on that, we can't tell them, we're going to go look at 2 or 3 different ones, and then we can come back. Once we know we have the property, we don't want, the people didn't really want to tell us anything till we sure we had a place to put it.
Sure, I understand that.
And since we're not deeding the property, there's nothing lost if, I mean,
No, I mean,
No.
it's
if
still
the whole
y'all.
thing
I
fell
mean,
through,
we
we're
use
not
splosh
losing
or
any
whatever,
property.
you know, whatever
Sure,
funds we
yeah,
can, you know.
Yeah, okay.
I think you had something, Philip.
Basically, you're just asking to be able to use the property for preliminary to see about what it's gonna cost to put a building on. You're not telling us what the building's gonna cost or anything at this point.
No, because we don't know.
Yeah, we don't
We're
have any idea.
researching
We're wanting to use our Trenton Splosh funds in the next, between now to 27. This is one of the projects we want to do, and we're wanting to do it for everybody. A lot of the departments are looking for trucks, a lot of the older tankers that they've been talking to y'all about, or something like that. We don't feel we need equipment, we want to build a facility. We're going to also approach the city council to do the same thing to help build that. That's what we're wanting to work on in our next 6 years of splosh funds between city and county to build a training facility. It's huge points in our ISO. A lot of us are hanging on to our numbers by just threads, and the training facility is 35 solid hard points that we can give. We've been working with our ISO consultants, some other fire chiefs, and this is where they help us that we need something. It's not just for us, it's for all county departments on county property, county splosh
Sure.
funds.
Can also be used by the sheriff's department for their,
You know, y'all asked Tommy about multi-use. This could be used for them to breach in houses. These buildings we're looking at, it's got movable walls. We will not burn heavy smoke in it. We've got containers we've done to do that now, but we want to move over there. But you gotta have so much area and space that we have it at the sewer plant now don't qualify. And it's not tall enough because of two-story facilities. You gotta have so many full 2 stories, 2 containers high that we have don't qualify for that. And it has to be NFPA approved for safeties, things like that. That's where all 7 of us are losing tremendous points that we want to take, since the property's already there, and use stuff to help better the ISO. And then as Jerry was talking about the gap, we've been studying 5 road miles from every fire department. Valley View Drive to Valley View Estates, all the way down to Birch Chapel Road, Lane Drive, Fisher, and all that are ISO class 10.
Yeah.
Because ISO, South Dade and Trenton has a huge hole. If we wanna move one of our trucks in the Trenton's district to that station, and we'll be able to finish that ISO out between our 2 gaps. We're working with Chief Hill on this, and it don't change any response area, it just helps people have a better insurance rating once we get this done, and that's ISO to come back.
yeah, we're a class 4 in the city, well, in our area.
Well, our county city district is a class 4.
Yeah.
And with our water haul and our automatic gate, we can't, anybody that's outside of that 5 road miles, as you drive 36 Back Valley Road, that's when it stops. So that's what we're trying to do.
And that makes a huge difference when you go from a 10 to 4
It sure does, yeah.
on percentage of what they save on insurance.
So between both districts, we're gonna have a combined station that hopefully both volunteers will help with. And we'll be able to respond to trucks out of there, and ISO looks at us another, and we've got these all over the county. That was the 3 roads that hit us, was Back Valley, Valley View, and somewhere in parts of 11 was further away because of that station by 5 road miles. When we got our studies back, we got back from ISO here this year.
Where do y'all have to go now? I know, we talked, a while back. Where do y'all go Trent, for training? Because you don't have a facility.
Well, we do, we have our barn boxes down here that we use. When we got certified instructors to burn. You gotta have certified instructors to use these facilities as far as safety goes. We use our burn boxes right now, and we're in the process of redoing one of them right now and rebuilding it. So because we have to travel if we don't. We have to either go to Walker County or somewhere else to do a burn, so we'll have our burn box back up in another month.
Our certified burn facility, we have to go to Walker or Catoosa right now.
Yeah.
Ours is not certified, like we're saying, but we can do the simulations to go get the guys certified. We have to go to a testing facility that's got certified building, which is Walker and Catoosa.
Yeah.
Okay.
But our instructors and training is all done here. How many we have now? 4 or 5? 4 live burn instructors and teachers that can do certain things. But that's with multiple departments, I mean, all of us.
Sounds good.
I'm good with the process to get to the price.
Well, like I said, and I understand what Ansel's saying, till they know they got a place to put it, it wouldn't do them any good to, because depending on what they're gonna have to do, to hook up somewhere. Do y'all know, are you in the process now, if we agreed to this tonight, that you would go looking for
Yes.
getting that pretty soon?
In fact, we got a trip planned Friday to go look at 2 or 3 different buildings. They call them fire chiefs, lieutenants. They're all different, type buildings. Calhoun's got 2 of them. Cleveland's got 1. We're ready to go look.
But the critical thing is the fire station. We want to get that 10 gone. That's the most important, and that's
Right.
our cutoff point being Valley View Drive, and there's county property. We can put a building. We want to put like a 3-bay building, maybe have 2 bays in it. The other side would be for restrooms and an area for training that you would do in-house there, and then go out back, like your map says, and the 2.5, 3-story building be back there with concrete area. We're going to need pretty heavy water. There's a water line on that side of the road that we can tap and bring up through there and things like that. So most critical is the ISO. The training will help that when we get it, but we could ask them to come back before our 2 or 3 years and re-rate that area for the taxpayers. That's the number 1 concern right now.
Yeah, we need to
The
get an engine
training
over
would
there.
come in and either secure our 4, It'll help every other district to have an in-house training NFPA certification, and that we might could ask to get everybody's rating down within the 5-mile radius. But we still got gaps like this all over the county that it's a common problem nationwide, but crooks and crannies and things like that. But we're gonna be asking for SPLOST for a building kit of some sort that we try to do ourselves, working with our public works to do it, and our in-house septic tank inspectors and constructors.
Yeah, okay.
So that help us out, things like we build our storm shelter, we want to try to do as much in-house to save the funds,
Yeah.
but
Sure.
that's what our goal is,
Yeah,
to look
that's-
at some type of.
That's what we want to do,
building
and
kit.
even on the building, I mean, even the people we've talked to says, look, you can do the do the building yourself, they charge you about as much as they do for the building to put it up.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of people that can help put it up, so.
And if there's a big development comes in that area like's been looked at, they may be willing to build the fire station to help that complex, I guess you'd call it. Maybe.
But we just want to know whether y'all will say yea or nay on the property, that's the main thing. Then we'll go from there.
So basically what y'all are asking for, and let's go to Robin, is you're asking for minimum of 2 acres, starting there at Daniels Road with a front on Back Valley Road,
And coming up to where that drain line is, where the,
back to the ditch that
Right.
that he was talking about.
we'll have to stay off of it, I don't know.
But we're not giving up anything, we're
No.
just setting that aside for y'all to have the leverage to go after a building, and if something happens, it does not happen. Or, to be in all honesty, I know, the mayor's mentioned using the city splash fund and all that. If you come back and we say, well, we can't do it, then we couldn't do it, so you'd be in the midst of building. And I know, like Lamar was saying, you can't really wait on a big development to come in if it's something that you need to get done. So
It's gonna help those citizens over there.
It will.
We're gonna try to do it.
Well, you
as
got
quick
2
as we can.
subdivisions, a golf course,
So half
a
of
lot
Valley View's a 10, other half's a 4. It splits right down through the line through there. You got all that other residents on Birch Chapel Drive, Birch Chapel Drain, Fisher Road, all that we have pulled the 5-mile radius, working with Chief Hill. And we want to those people need it now.
And when we got fire hydrants in Valley View, but there's still a 10.
Because even though we're like 6.23 miles to get to.
because they're in no man's land, basically. Okay.
So when you leave that 5-mile road radius, you go to an automatic 10. That's just the way it is. And we were working with Matt on a thing for somebody on Fisher Road. There's a hydrant in their front yard, but we're both 6-point-something miles away. It just won't work, but, it's just utilizing the county property, put a fire station on, and hopefully a thing on it. We don't.
Yeah, I
really
mean, the
need to
county will
buy
still own it.
nothing
I
out.
mean, it's not, we don't want,
Yeah, well, I'd like to say, we're not giving up anything
Yeah.
to give the leverage to be able to go and
Yeah, I don't think we need to buy.
make the deal you
anything
need to
else.
make.
Property that's
Yeah,
there.
help the
Yeah.
people, yeah.
It's pretty level up there where the shop and all that was. It's fairly level. It's a good long level spot, long enough away from that spot. And we walked the whole thing with Billy a couple times as well as when the sheriff's office was doing theirs. But we hope to utilize the whole property for different things. Driving the trucks, the flat area up top where all the skeet shooting is and the big gravel lot. Sometimes people need to learn how to drive and back up. We can set up cones in places. We've gone to the high school and the senior building, but sometimes they got something going on. And some of these driveways we have to get up to. We got some narrow roads we can test with. We hope to make it a training complex between us all.
Yeah.
Is the goal.
All right. Mr. Hartline, what do you think? I know you already said,
I'm good until we see a price.
Mr. Chairman, what the commission may want to do is consider, whether to agree with the project in principle and then have them bring back a final proposal.
Yeah.
For final.
and I think that's all they're really wanting. They just want to know that the land would be there.
land's available, then we'll go from there.
Mr. Lowry,
I'm good with it.
Mr. Bradford,
Yes, I'm good with it.
and I am as well, so Robin can draw up whatever needs to be drawn up to, so
Okay.
y'all can start.
Yeah,
Looking at
we'll
the-
get started and get back with
looking
y'all
at
just as
the-
soon as we get some prices and figure out which way we're going.
Before y'all leave, Kerry told me that right before the meeting, what was it, International Firefighter?
Firefighters, yes, today.
So, we appreciate our firefighters.
Thank you. We're going to a class.
All right, and we moved Mr. Jamie Blevins up, so if you want to come on, Jamie.
I appreciate you guys moving me up a little tonight. So we've had a pretty busy month over there. We started framing. They've got 4 rooms or so done on the first floor with the framing, which is good. We got a couple guys over there working steady, so that's moving in the right direction. We did have one RFP issued and returned last month for some selective demo to allow us to complete the framing. And then there's some additional demolition work that needed to be done. We had 2 contractors show up for the mandatory pre-bid walkthrough. Only one returned a proposal. That was River City Interiors for an amount of $25,880. Given that they're already doing the framing, we recommend that we accept their proposal to do the demolition as well. And the budget reflects that bid amount that's included in your monthly report from us. So that top line item there that's highlighted in orange reflects their proposal amount, and we were able to keep the budget, intact. We didn't have to get into any contingency funds or anything for that demolition, so it worked out well there. We last month had a meeting with the HVAC contractor to talk about how we're going to get the diffusers put into the courtroom upstairs. The plan is to do a mock-up. We're waiting on a piece called a plaster ring. So the diffusers will look kind of like these, but to put those in a hard seal, and they make a trim kit that you have to get with those, and that's why we're waiting to come in to get that mock-up done to see how that's going to look with the tiles. So hopefully we'll have that and can recommend a direction for that next month. But right now we're thinking that's probably going to be the best way to go to make sure we get a good finished look. We don't want to have something that's kind of piecemealed up there. Along those same lines, we did locate a company that can create some more of those tiles for us. So we recommend getting about 20 tiles. That's a few more than we need to get everything put back together, but that would give you some attic stock in case something ever happened. The cost for that, including the mold, is right at $3,100, and these will be a 10-plated steel panel, which is a little more expensive. They have a PVC option, but my concern with going with something like a PVC is it's not going to have as clean and crisp of an edge as the steel will, and I'm afraid it won't match what's there. So for the relatively low cost that we're looking at, I would recommend going with the little higher end product to make sure we get the profiles to match what we've got. So we would recommend going ahead and getting that done, getting that mold made, and moving forward with getting those tiles as well. Coming up this month, we have 2 RFPs out right now. One for millwork. There's a mandatory pre-bid for that on May the 10th at 8 a.m. So this will be the largest piece of finished work that we have in the courthouse that we'll be trying to get under contract this month. Our proposals back to present to you for contract next month. So that's a mandatory pre-bid at 8 on the 10th, and then we have the painting and staining work, which will be at 2 o'clock on the 10th for the mandatory pre-bid. Both of those proposals are due back at noon on the 24th of May. So we'll be able to present both of those packages to you at the June meeting. Getting those set up to move forward will allow us to get the bulk of the finished work done by early fall, rolling right into getting the flooring done towards the end of the year and getting the project wrapped up by year end. That's our current schedule and plan. We are working with a door and hardware vendor right now. So in kind of putting together the RFP for the doors and hardware, there's a lot of doors over there that are really nice. They're old, and we hate to just trash them. So we're working with a hardware vendor right now to try to find hardware that will work with the existing doors we have, but also have some hardware manufactured to match that we can use on new doors. So we don't have to spend the money on getting mortise doors, which are way, way more expensive. So we hope to have that information in the next week or two so we can get that RFP out and get that stuff ordered as well, because those will have a little bit of lead time with them that we'll need to get those headed this way. Other than that, we're still plugging along. The plan will be to get going with the already approved drain line, which where that wall was damaged from the accident. That will be our access point now, which will make things a little easier. And you'll just roll that repair work in when we've got to repair the wall where we tied to that drain. So, all right. Any questions?
Sound like a great report.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have answered this a second ago, but I didn't. If you were going at the same pace you are now, and the money, everything was done, when do you think that will be finished?
So right now, the plan is to have this thing done by end of year.
By the end of the year?
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought
That's
I
what we're
heard.
tracking right now, as long as we don't hit any hiccups with material or
Right,
anything,
yeah.
so. Everything's looking
It's a little bit ahead of
a
schedule.
little bit ahead of schedule, yeah. We're tracking well.
Good, good.
Well, it's been a long wait. I'm sure we can make 7 more months. Any more questions for Jamie?
Thanks.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go back to our board appointments and proclamations. First is a joint proclamation for the respective law week. And of course, this was done on Tuesday. I think we'll be showing some pictures during our regular meeting of some that went on over there. This is something that the Optimist Club does every year at the 1st of May in honoring a lot of the, 6 different factors in as far as the highway patrol, city police, sheriff's department, DNR and all those. So it's a great thing, and if you're able to next year and on that first Tuesday in May to come to it, it's really a great thing to do. So everybody good with that? It's something we've been doing. I think this was the 18th year that Optimist Club has been doing it. Everybody good with it?
Yes.
Okay. Done with consent agenda. Today was a proclamation for the National Day of Prayer. I don't think as far as anything we did have prayer, but it was for another function that we'll talk about in a second. But this was National Day of Prayer, and I'm sure that a lot of prayer went up for our nation and our citizens. So that's May the 4th, 2023. Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay, put that on the consent agenda. The Foster Proclamation for Foster Care Month is something that's always needed. People to take children sometimes for a little while, sometimes for extended. But again, something we've been doing in honoring them for a lot of years. So everybody good with that? It's May of 2023. Proclamation for Armed Forces Day on the 3rd Saturday of May, which is coming up real soon. And again, something that we certainly honor our serving military and armed forces people, as well as those who have the veterans that are involved in it. So everybody good with that? Consent agenda. Proclamation for National Travel and Tourism Week, and somebody may want to say more about that later on, but that's for the May 2023, and we hope to continue to build our tourism here in Dade County, Trenton. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, consent agenda. Have a appointment of a member to the Georgia Region 1 Emergency Medical Council. That one haven't been out of the country for three weeks since the last month. So,
Yeah, we have 2 members, that is myself, and been on it ever since we've had our 08 service of emergency services, and we're going to appoint Kyle Gross, which is now the EMS chief of our county emergency or EMS services, to serve that term that's, I think, goes to 24 or 26. And so we're just, 2 of us are there, and they do quarterly meetings and things that we have to be there to keep our status of our zone and a license that we do, and any updates and changes that's happening.
Everybody good with that? All right, put that on the consent agenda. Then resolution R21-23, resolution appointment of a member, the Dade County Water and Sewer Authority Board to fill the unexpired term of a member's term. The member is Darrell Pardue, who runs and operates the hardware store in Rising Pond. He served now about a little over 3 years on the water board, but he did tender a resignation, which we have before us. We were looking and asking and talking to people, and we did have someone that has agreed to serve, and that someone is Tony Payne, who lives in Rising Pond as well, and that's District 3. We try to do it by district if at all possible. So Mr. Tony Payne has agreed to serve. This is the unexpired term, which ends the end of this year, so it's basically 7.5 months, but of course he would be eligible, if so desiring to, he would be eligible to be renamed. So is everybody good with Mr. Tony? Okay, then we'll put that on the consent agenda, and Don will take care of that, getting it to the proper folks tomorrow. All right, that is all of our resolution and appointment. If everybody's good, that's all on the consent agenda. Now we'll go to the approval of SPLOSH capital equipment number 5, if any. We have Captain Joe Chambers here to talk to us about something tonight. So, Mr. Chambers, come on up.
So I'm going to start talking to you about flush valves. We've got 28 flush valves in the jail that affect inmates. That's not counting the public area or the officers at the officers' restrooms. But so probably I'd say 6-7 years ago we started as they would go down. We was replacing them with Zern flush valve. Zern offers a flush valve. We were paying a little bit over $600 back then. Yes, sir.
You're done in the ARPA request instead of SPOTS request.
Okay, I didn't know y'all wanted to go there first. My apologies. So
Well, we're on SPOTS.
Go ahead.
the body cameras, when we first got those for the jail, we worked, the city gave us an excellent deal, and we purchased 8, actually I believe it was 9 body cameras like that one there. I'm thinking we paid less than $500, and it was bought from the inmate benefit fund, so originally it wasn't tax dollars. The charging station and the downloading station to charge and download the videos went bad, and then due to WatchGuard, Motorola purchasing WatchGuard, they're not going to fix our charging and download station, so we unfortunately have to, or forced into stepping it up, and I'll let Alex talk to you about that.
As we approached with the patrol units and the servers a few months ago, again, these current ones that we donated some to the sheriff's office, and Joseph bought a few more for his jailers. And, you know, we talked about Law Appreciation Week, and those detention officers are in there 24/7, just like our officers in the field. And there's incidents that happen in that jail. I've been in there a few times working, and I'm glad I was at where I was at when those incidents happened. So, and again, they're unseen first responders and keeping of our things, and these things have saved so many things that go on. The same thing with our officers. But this is the new replacement that WatchGuard has developed with Motorola as they bought out, and this is the one we purchased with the car that Major Bradford come up that we're getting outfitted for patrol. We just put 3 of these available also in the city units, but we can't get them cut over. The server cut over is June 1. We're still waiting on technology to get caught up and people to do all this for us. But these right here is what you see, the quote of 10 on your paperwork there. Also with the cradle that Joseph was talking about, because his guys have to be able to, in their checkout room and what we call the, where they're doing all their work, they take these things in and out, and every one of those jailers and officers have these mounted on their chest when they're out there doing their job. So for what he's trying to do, we are these are breaking quicker than we can get them repaired, and they're not able to repair them. The end of life of these are now, and we can't get them repaired. The officers are having to come get some of the jail's old ones to work out in the field, and we're getting a quote for what we need to finish out patrol, because we can't replace cars with this new system quicker than these are tearing up. This is one is destroyed that they've sent back because they can't fix it. So I just brought it to show you the difference of it. And most of this one is a battery. And this is the actual camera. As you can see, the technology's smaller and newer. And this has also got a panoramic view that looks right to left and up and down. And this old one, you had to move it up and down manually. So it's probably 10 years difference in data. We started replacing these with the cars as they would come to y'all with car replacements. We were getting new one of these things. And with a hot swappable battery, this battery is internal that we had to send back to get replaced. Then later on, they started giving us the tools and the specs to do it ourselves because they wouldn't last long. And sometimes in a busy shift, Joseph's detention officers were run out of battery. They were having to swap them back out and get back on because it's such a busy day. And every interaction that he has with his officers, which crimes happen in our jail, we can't help that. And that's also the evidence that needs to go with that into the DA's office. So the request there is for the 10 cameras, the cradle, and the warranty and services for each unit that we have 24 replacement stuff on it there. And I believe it was at $13,895.
$13,895.
And the servers and stuff that we got, all this ties into it. It's exactly the same thing that for the road patrol. It's just the division of the jail.
Do you expect those, you said the others tear up faster than you can get them fixed, do you expect those to be a better?
They are. It's the newest thing out there. We didn't have to rebuy licensing or anything. We just had to update servers because what I'm going to present earlier, Server 2012 is getting obsolete for Microsoft. We're under this gun every SPLOST when certain servers start going down that won't be supported by Microsoft to move to the newest version of WatchGuard Motorola software. And also this technology that I can't get parts for, this is the new one they developed that they can build with better technology. And we need 20 in patrol. Me and Tommy and Matt talked today and Joseph this afternoon that it's our safety of our folks out there to what they do. And in a road patrol unit, as soon as they initiate their lights and siren, when they're responding, their car camera comes on, shows a panoramic view, their body camera comes on automatically. When the suspects are in the back of the car, it records them. It looks at them as they're sitting because crimes have happened in the back of that or contraband has been dropped, and it records everything they say back there. So that's the safety that we need that goes on for these cases to keeping our city and county safe. And we need 20 to start replacing them because to get 20 cars replaced with the units we currently have, it'd take us 10 years to do it if we're doing 2 cars a year. So we're waiting on a quote to see. We will not need the cradle station on that, but as you see, the individual cost of $995 for just the camera, and then the yearly maintenance. Now that yearly maintenance is what we've been budgeting in. This will cover the first year. In the years after that, we do have a maintenance contract with WatchGuard Motorola that maintains our servers and equipment. If this breaks, they send us a brand new one and we send this one back.
All right, anybody have any
But that's down
questions?
the road.
Who did you say them 10 was for?
Sir?
The 10 that we're getting, who are they going to?
They'll be in his jail division.
And you said we need 20 more for the deputy.
Yeah, that's just patrol. We haven't proposed that, but we're
Did we
waiting.
ask, yeah, I mean, I know that, but did we ask, if we go back to that number, you think there may be a discount?
We can see. We could ask them and see. I'm actually meeting with her the 12th, or Motorola Well.
Or the 10 or the 20, or both? I mean, well, that would be
We done them all at that price, the 10 for the jail and the 20 for patrol. A lot of times the investigators share them. When they go out and do their things, they need them. They don't have cameras in their car, so with all the patrol units and the cars that's ready to go and investigations. And we also like to have at least one or two spares sitting there in case something goes wrong. You hand them one and keep going. If not, somebody's got to leave one or they forget, and then we got an officer that don't have a body cam.
Benefit of ordering them, well, I mean, there is probably a benefit of ordering 30, and then you might get a discount. The problem is when they do start going out,
All 30 goes out at one time.
tend to start going out about the same time. Doesn't mean they'll all go out. I mean, accidents happen too.
Yeah, I
But
mean-
if we do, as we buy cars and update them in time.
The thing is, these are going to all be dead before we can replace
Yeah,
the cars.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, if we start staggering, and now they're only gonna get more expensive too.
They are.
You gotta think about that.
Like you said, Joseph, we started, these were $549. They kept, I think they got up to like 7 or 8 at the last. Now they are $995.
So what is the best immediate need for them? The whole 20, 30, the 10,
How
and
many
then
you
be
got
able to
working now in
stagger
jail?
them
You
for a while?
3, 4?
So, typically on day shift, there is, gonna be 4 officers in there that will need access to cameras. And then, of course, they go home, and then 3 officers on night shift. So that's 7 for a 24-hour shift, because you just can't take a day shift camera, hand it to a night shift guy. They got a dock, and then the new camera goes on the night shift.
Well, I mean, Don brought up a good point. If it's something that you could do over a 6-month, come back in 6 months and do, and, because everything we do seems to do what he said. We buy 30, they all go out at one time. If you can wait 6 months and get 10 more, and 6 months and get 10 more, some kind of a staggering, then they wouldn't all come up at one time and say, well, we need them all again, because the price will go up, but.
We understand. I mean, if we were to get 10 now, that'd get the jail back 100%. We can take what good ones he's got and use them until the other ones, but one of the things that all the ones in the jail don't automatically turn on with the car because they don't have the Wi-Fi capability. That's when we donated the cities to them when we upgraded 5 or 6 years ago. We give these to the city or to the county because we got the ones with Wi-Fi that automatically comes on with the cars. So the guys are having to turn the car on, and when they get out of the car, they got to hurry up and turn the button on, and sometimes they don't have time. So that's the only downfall with that. So it is.
Yes, technology.
It is. Technology's nice. When they turn everything on, everything's 100% going. But we got 4 sitting over there on the desk waiting for replacement cameras so we can send the other ones back. And it's been on Daniel's desk for at least 4 months.
And does that cost something also?
Now, with our warranty, it doesn't.
Okay.
So they send us they don't have the stuff to send us because they can't repair them.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a supply chain and old technology where parts are. It's what they're telling us. Now, they're built in Texas. They're American-made. I don't know where the parts are coming. This is also built in Texas by the same company. Motorola just put their symbol on it.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things, the new software is Linux-based, which is good for viruses now. We've got a lot of more agencies and softwares moving to Linux because of the cyber issues our nation and world is having right now. So, it's a big change for us, but all of our old equipment will convert to the new, like our car cameras, the other existing body cameras that's still working. If we get down to a point we don't have any, that might be when we order 5 at a time or something. I mean, it's kind of the way we do our radios too. We'll come to you so often with what grant funds and some SPLOST funds and buy 5 or 6 radios at a time.
So what we need to do tonight, I think, is to go ahead and look at this 10,
Yes.
agree to the 10, and then,
Yeah.
see how it would be a little later on down the road.
That's why when we got this for Joseph middle of last month, and this come in after we done met, and then we've had a few more issues since then, just got me thinking, and we're holding on these cameras and our guys and gals that's out in the field that we're gonna keep running into this issue, I think. But this will give us a little bit more cushion.
Well, and this will honor this particular quote that we've got from this place too, so all right, well, what do you think, Mr. Hartline?
I'm good with it.
All right. Okay. I am as well. Put that on the consent agenda. Mr. Don. Well, we got Alex to come up, or we got, Joe, you'd already, if it's all right if we can do this now. Come on back up now with your flush valve.
This is ARPA money now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, we're looking at 28 inmate-related flush valves, and, of course, the building, is old as the original flush valves were going out. We had to make a determination on which one to use. We elected to go with the Zern flush valve, but they just keep, in my opinion, inching up in price. Back, we were paying a little over $600 when we first started replacing with the Zern. I think, let's see, in February, we were paying $757, February of '22, $757 per valve. And I tried to get an updated quote from Walter A. Wood. They didn't send it. But Jared said that them valves are closer to $800 a piece now. So, their lifespan, in my opinion, wasn't good enough, especially for that kind of money. Typically, Zern does put out a good product, and we were going with that particular flush valve to prevent the inmates from time to time. We've had issue with them trying to flood the jail out. If you can cram a towel or sheet or whatever in the toilet and just keep mashing flush, you get the waterfall effect out in the jail. So that particular valve only allowed them to flush 3 times in 1 hour. So you better make it count. That was all you're getting. But anyway, along with the price of Zern, we got to looking. 4 years ago, we tried out a new company, Icon. They're out of Atlanta, and we were having similar problems with our shower valves. They just weren't lasting. We was getting 1 year out of a shower valve and having to replace each shower valve every year. We switched to Icon on the shower valves 4 years ago, and they've been great. We've had 3 minor hiccups with 8 showers, well, actually 9 showers, so we can't really complain on that. I contacted Icon for a quote. For the material, it's $15,655.46. They also quoted labor to come up and install for $8,498. Which with Jared being as busy as he is, taking on a project of doing 28 flush valves, along with everything else that's going on in the county, you know, it's just not something that he can put the brakes on and come into the jail and start replacing flush valves, because it's not going to be, it's going to take some time to get all 28 of those in. So the difference between the Zern and the Icon valve is going to be a little over $5,500 savings. And, you know, we're kind of Icon, they do everything that the Zern does as far as limited on the flushes, so we don't wind up with a flooding effect when somebody's unhappy. Also, when I talked to Icon, I said, you know, if it goes bad or some trash comes out of the city water main and gets up into the valve and tears it up, I said, how much is the guts of it? He said that you can pop the lid, $20, drop a brand new cartridge in, just similar to like you would at your home kitchen faucet, and you're ready to go again. So in addition to that, also Zern, we've been waiting on average about, you know, month and a half to 2 months on parts or another valve. So as it stands right now, we've got 6 toilets down, and those 6 toilets are 4 beds or 4 inmates. So that's beds that we can't use until we get them up. And right now, you won't find that valve in Chattanooga. And we're trying to get parts in on the warranty because they're not that old, they're not lasting that long, so. I'd just like to present maybe trying a more economical valve and at $20 a replacement, as far as in the future, that's gonna go a lot better for us, and they're readily available.
So you're asking for basically 2 items, and it comes to a total of around 24,000, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
15,655, and then the installment or whatever, 8,498.
Yes.
All right, any questions?
Did you check with any local plumbers to see if they could install the flush valves?
At a better rate?
Yeah.
I'd be glad to. I mean, if y'all wanna hold up on that portion, we can.
And, you've got 6 bad right now?
I've got 6 bad right now, today, and it changes just about every week and a half, 2 weeks, one will go down, or,
And taking on a new valve, I personally, a complete swap like that, we don't know anything about these yet. Why wouldn't we do just 10? Have 4 on, 6 we got,
so.
have 4 on hand.
So with Icon, with the shower valves, you know, again, we moved away from and went to Icon on the shower valves. Like I said, our shower valves have been in for 4 years. I think Jared's had to have minor glitches 3 times in 4 years. So, you know, kind of banking on that kind of service with them with these flush valves, because, I mean, even if you had the cartridge being $20, if you had to drop, you know, a few cartridges in a year, you're not having to replace the whole valve like with Zern. We're having to pull the whole valve out. They won't let you get into it to pull the old cartridge out, put a new cartridge in. And Icon is they're a corrections / jail
I
provider.
read about them online. I didn't see anything
Yeah.
about a local, that, all I could find was in Florida, that you said they're in Atlanta, so.
I was looking over the sign here page if you want to buy this, and I noticed an Atlanta address. So, and they may be,
It said Florida.
okay. But, you know, they've got it available, and we'll have replacement parts available in the future, and that's better than what Zern is offering, because if it goes out and that valve is past 1 year, then you're looking at almost $800
I'd be willing
versus,
to look at 10 of them, but then.
That was my, I was like Lamar, how long has the 6 been down?
about a month.
I'd prefer to
About
go
a
with
month,
10 like
month and a
Lamar and
half.
let Jared do the 6 and have 4 on hand to check them out first. And if they've been
So
down that long-
can I ask you this? Can we go ahead and go 12? The reason why I ask is these, they don't have movable parts, and one electric controller controls 4 toilets.
I'd be
So
good with
you
that.
got, in a Chase, I have 4 toilets. I'm gonna drop 1 controller
Do that.
and catch all 4 toilets.
I'm good with
I mean,
that.
I don't care a bit to,
Is there any, is there a warranty towards any
2 year.
2 years? So then if you get the 12 and then the others that are not that brand go down, you're spending $800 more
Per valve.
per valve to get them?
Icon per valve price is $194.46 versus pushing $800.
Yeah. And
Well, it
what-
does.
And what would be the total for, you want 20?
Well, the total for the whole jail is 28, how many flush valves we have.
28,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
But if it worked out with 12, it goes back to what we talked about earlier too. You don't have all 28 at one time.
Sure.
Somewhere down the road.
And I'll be honest with you, their shower valves, I didn't expect their shower valves to do as well as they've done. Because man, we've had a lot of prayer meeting over some shower valves in that jail before we went with them. You know,
And
once
you
a
may,
year.
with that warranty, I agree with Philip, you see if there's anybody locally that could do it, but you wouldn't want it to affect the warranty if it was not their
Well, if you
technician.
don't, if you don't have but 6 out right now and Jerry can replace them, we're not talking about a 28 change,
Yeah.
we're talking about 6.
So let me give you another for instance. We purchased the Icon faucet valves to do the jail roughly about a year ago. And I've been waiting on him to get them installed for the last year. He's bought the cutoff valves and the strainer valves to strain the trash before it gets to these valves.
Right.
And, you know, with all the projects that the county's got going, I'm not gonna dun him on it, you know.
Fair enough, but you got over $2,500 in travel expense and daily expenses for somebody to come and install them. So I'm pretty confident we can probably beat that price with somebody
And,
local.
and I don't care a bit to try to go local here. We're not that kind of married to it.
Right, okay.
Is there any warranty with somebody else installing it?
It would just stick to the 2-year on the valve itself. But, you know, again, we've envisioned trying to, as these, you know, the faucet valves are rocking on 32 years old now, and we've gone through and put rings in them, I'm aware of 3 times. And, you know, the movable parts in them are starting to have problems and wearing out. We're in the same scenario with them where you can't find parts for them because they're original valves that come with the building. And, you know, today's world, there's an easier solution with no movable parts. It just fills the heat of your hand and then it kicks the water on, in which that's less stuff to tear up.
Yeah, my concern is that there's already 6 out.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this needs to get done as soon as possible, so you would have to get on somebody in town to come, and that's not gonna happen.
I asked them when they could have it as soon as, you know, they were given the green light, and I was told they would be sitting here in 3 to 5 business days.
Yeah,
So they're sitting in their warehouse.
and then for them to install it? Same,
we'd have to pull back and talk to some local plumbers and get some,
Well, I'm saying the company, who you have to install it, like, would it be?
they said they would be able to get on it pretty quick.
Okay. Yeah,
Well, for Don's reading back of the consent agenda now, exactly what are we, because he's sitting here wondering the same thing I am now. We talking shower heads or shower valves
Yeah.
and
No,
the
we're
flush
just
valves?
talking flush
Or
valves.
just the flush valves?
So
Just
what
the
are
flush
these
valve.
2-inch length, 6-inch length cable? I mean, is that stuff you need to make this stuff work, or is it?
Yes, on page, yes. So page 1, they've got the actual valve itself.
Right.
Then the controller pod would be the controller that controls actually 4 toilets electronically. Touch sensors are the sensors that you just bump it with your hand inside the jail to get it to flush. And then, of course, they may have the 1 6-foot length there. I think we may, the 1 solenoid for the 9-volt battery, 1 solenoid for the touch to go between the controller and the touch sensor.
But it would only change the unit price to going down from 28 to,
Sure.
yeah, but
unless-
then it's also getting it installed, so either saying yes or no to him.
well, that'd be the first thing that Joe could find out. You know, you work on that tomorrow before you put in an order. And then, I don't know, Robin, could we do it, you know, based on what he finds out with that, we do a tentative then on going ahead with this company.
And if y'all are okay with ordering, you know, if you want me to start out with 12, if I could go ahead and place the order and have that stuff sitting here, so, you know.
What I'm saying, but in the meantime, find out if somebody locally would be able to do it
Okay,
in the
so the
morning.
question is also, do we want somebody local even if the cost is higher? Like,
No,
so that's,
no,
that's
no,
the
no.
question,
And
I mean, that's a question
That's what
also.
Joe said, at a cheaper price, he'd be glad to.
Yeah, that's
because there
what-
may
I
be.
mean-
And, so,
Time and
Yeah.
cheaper. So you're looking at two crucial things that are, important.
And we've slowly been preparing for this. Like I said, we've bought the cutoff valves and the strainers to strain the trash before it hits these brand-new valves. Jared has them in stock. So, I mean,
We already need a plumber, is what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. So we've, it's just whatever the fire is for the day, whatever needs to be put out first is what we've kind of been doing.
And
on the
he
maintenance
is,
end.
He's
poured
very
in
busy.
14. But if you can find that out about a local and then, base it on whether or not you can get some, I mean, they may say, yeah, we can do it, but it'll be 6 months. Well, we
Yeah.
can't wait 6 months, so we'd have to go back to the original, using whoever they have, but we can do it based on, you may be able to find out something by noon tomorrow and go ahead and do the order based on that, and order the 12. And so
So I got a question. On this second item, there's 14 of those. How many actually do you need to make 12 flush valves work?
So,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah, so we're in a scenario where I've got one spot that we can use one in. That'd be 1, 2.
So do you need 3 of those? Or I don't know.
Yeah, I need 3.
Page, yeah,
page 102, the Nexus
yeah, it's the next.
X11.5.
4 flush.
Controller with pots.
So you need 4.
That's the reason you get paid the big bucks, Don. Like doing a recipe for 3 times what you want to make. So we are talking 12 and 3 of whatever those are right now. Okay. And that again, if, you find out what you can about using somebody local, and if they can't get to it in time, and these people can, I don't see any other recourse but to go ahead with doing what you have to do there.
Okay.
And if the 8,000 and whatever is based on all 28 of them, if it's travel and all that, it may still change that sum. I mean, obviously it would.
Yeah.
So we change the 8,498, it would bring it down to something, I suppose.
Right.
Is everybody good with that, whatever that is,
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
So what we're saying is 12 and whatever it takes to operate them.
That's correct.
Make it simple.
And
What are you hiding in the corner?
Yeah.
It's not citizen participation yet.
I'm sorry, Mike.
If Don's able to read that back in about 20 minutes, well, you'll know what you got, joke. We don't know yet. But, thank you.
Good news, job, bro.
Yeah, or you can have it back just any minute.
No, keep going.
Got a- All right, we're still under ARP, Dade County Information Technology, Mr. Alex Case again.
Sorry I'm up here so much, but I help a lot of people. Again, I'm a small part of this big old team of Dade County, so glad we can help each other and beat off each other, get things working. We are under some time restraints with software, as Microsoft does this. They have this thing called end of life, and we've got some servers that are main products of our county system, our Dade County file server, our Dade County email server, and one of the servers for magistrate. I'm trying to remember the fourth one. But we're under current older servers that we purchased early on in the prior SPLOST with server 2012, and end of life of that support for viruses and any updates ends October of 23 from Microsoft. As a lot of us also known, we have talked about our continuity of operations from our COOP training, and some of the planning that we've been wanting to do is have our this government ready to move if this building or something was gone from tornadoes or fire, and a place that we can have redundancy backup sitting somewhere. This also puts 2 servers with some of these major components at our backup facility that can take a licking and keep ticking and out of the way and reported with some stuff. Again, we're looking at 4 servers. 2 of them will sit here in this building in our IT area. The other 2 would sit at backup center. The Synology rack, this is the second line item there. This is the rack that holds 12 3.84 terabyte hard drives. And we were looking at putting 8 hard drives in each Synology rack right now, which would give us right at 61.4 terabytes of data. Now, this is some of the data and getting a little bit bigger than what we currently are. We have been asking some of our big users, which is the assessor's office with all the pictures of our partials and data and information they do, our sheriff's office with investigations and things they do. There's a lot of pictures, there's a lot of video, there's a lot of things that has to stay. And just that WatchGuard server that we have in some of their file servers is over 30 terabytes right now. Now, that's not included in some of this storage, but I'd say there's at least 25 plus or more between those 2 or equally between them 2 right now. Then we also have the solid state drives I talked about. There'll be 16 of those. 8 of those will be split between each other. The rail kit, and then here's where we get into the current server, 2022 with 16 core license packs that would go on each one of the servers, and then the server users. Now, this is the users within that allows us to have all the email accounts, all the file server accounts from our 197 employees if we have in certain areas that we have. And then SQL Server, which is the last 2 line items, is some of the things that we need on the magistrate. SQL Server is a piece of software that runs their software that they have to have by the state that we have to house, and the CAL users for them, between them and I believe magistrate or probate works with that. So we bid this out based with our Networks Incorporated Lightfoot, that is our engineers that me and Daniel met with. Moving forward, we do this health check every year with our system to see where we are. We are sort of making some changes within our regular IT budget on some more security issues. We're starting to get that finished up. Daniel's been working really hard the last couple of weeks, going 1-to-1. We've been cleaning all of our older employees that were here. We're verifying with department heads that they're not there, making sure any emails, but we're having to get some of this stuff off the system for some of the software updates we're doing for security reasons, because they charge us per unit when we pay that monthly price, and some of the newer stuff we got to do. And a lot of this is hinging on our cybersecurity insurance that's required by ACCG and our things. And we're also having to move towards 2-step authentication. If you go to some of your things and log on, they send you a text or an email and they give you a 6-digit code. That's part of the steps of our insurance that we have if something does happen. So we bid this out through Lightfoot Technology as them being able to get the parts as well of our engineering firm that we work with. And then we also went with Microtronics, and I've also had copied this inside section and sent to CDWG and still waiting the price. But the original price from Lightfoot Technology for everything we mentioned was $75,034.10. And then through Microtronics was $91,552.
What's the monthly, the yearly maintenance on it? What do we got on that?
Well, that's us doing our own stuff. It comes with a certain amount of time and effort, at least a couple of years on the hardwares and the motherboards, and depending on what it is, but we're always, that's why Lightfoot is on contract with us. We pay them a lump sum about every year and a half or 2 based out of our IT budget to be on 24/7 call for us. Have to for ourselves in the jail, the 911 and anything. We wake them up. They're on call just like we are. They're the ones that really help us design and keep us up to date, and things that are filtering our email, our untangle box, and we've also are looking at, we've been slowly replacing some firewalls and switching issues that we're having. this stuff's running all the time, and between all these buildings and even down to the 4 fields, the shop, the transfer station, and the 4-H building, we got everything VPing back in. We're saving that funds that we do on our MyTel phone system, that when we done that upgrade and the prior splashed and things, when we worked on that and moved to a cheaper rate of phone service. So this is things, the biggest thing is the servers that are currently on the 2012 of these 4 that we need to get replaced, and then while we're here doing some upgrade, go ahead and get part of the backup at the center, at the backup center. And one of the things they are suggesting, where you see in these agencies that are hit, that this is an encrypted off-network system for the backup. It's not tied to what we call the Dade GA network. That's all these buildings you see here and the ones I mentioned further away. That's our Dade GA network every day, that we're fighting issues or things. And we've been having to do a lot of work with the DA and the judges here lately as they move offices. We don't ever port, all these walls you see are not plugged up. We don't allow that because people could just stick something in it and go on. We have to jump these things and make them work. So Daniel, myself, and Thomas, which is also in 911, we're the 3 that's doing all the work when it's needed. And we just, finished a long upgrade with our transfer station and software, and that's been something that is actually housed on a server here, that we can do updates and do the monthly reports and invoicing straight from here now versus having to go down there and sit at the computer and while all those trucks and people are coming in. So, but I know it's a lot. I mean, we're here under some time on these 2012s right now. So I think when we were doing some of the other upgrades that we brought up for 911, that's the same thing. We've been under just some time restraints and how old some of this stuff's getting. Once the end of life is, we don't get any hot patches or fixes. Usually Sunday nights or Sunday mornings or Monday mornings early, Daniel's usually up kind of early, and we shut everything down, do the Microsoft updates, restart the computers once a week, the servers. And we have to slowly shut that down. That's calling the jail and saying, hey, we're going to be shutting NCIC down, which they have to monitor 24/7, the sheriff's office, while we reboot and do some upgrades, updates and stuff. It's a constant moving battle that's not seen in the background to keep us up moving every day.
This will be a SPOS purchase.
No,
It's under ARPA.
It could be either one.
But, I mean, as long as the CDWG, when it comes in, it's not less. I've tried for a couple of weeks to get this, so. And in the past, Lightfoot has beat CDWG as well. So in our prior, so we're still waiting on that. Everything will be installed by us here in-house, set up, run up, and then Eric and IT Lightfoot Tech, the engineers will remote in and do some of the final things. Same thing we done with all the current WatchGuard stuff. We were able to get all that up. We started 2 weeks ago, and Daniel finally got finished up on it after we mounted all the hardware and got it in the system and grounded, and we save a lot by doing that all in-house.
Yeah, I assumed that that would be you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
transferring the data.
Well, we're not on the WatchGuard system because they're going to charge us so much to convert from Microsoft to Linux. So we're taking some of that off the network, and we will only look at it if we need to and move with thumb drives. After the 12 server runs down, we'll get it out of the system. We don't want nothing to touch our network. But really everything we do in-house, the only thing they do is help do the final keyboard and stuff of telling where to point and this and that, so.
Sure.
So you are looking at the Lightfoot?
Yes,
Lord,
yes,
being
yeah.
about 16 for people that might not see it, about 16,000 difference in the,
Yeah, there's $16,513 difference in the.
and they're both Chattanooga, well, Ottawa and
Yeah,
Chattanooga.
yeah. Guess again, Lightfoot's been with us they were Networks Incorporated. Those two companies did compete against each other. They merged, and it's been a little bit harder to find some pricing, but we always hit with CDWG. Like certain things, they're your laptops. CDWG beat the price on the laptops, and nobody can touch them on Lenovo's, but when we talk bigger things, and they use either HP servers or Microtronics builds everything in-house, and about 99% of everything in this county for the last 12 years has been Microtronics. When we're ready to replace a workstation, we walk up there and get 2 or 3 and come back. We don't have to wait on building them. They're sitting there ready to go. They're right across from Shields Electronics. They're off Jersey, Pike, and they're a very reputable company. A lot of agencies use them. City of Collegedale also uses that company. And then there are several government. They'd also do the work for Walker County tax assessor's office as well, or tax commissioner, just like Angie's group too.
All right, anybody got any questions?
I just want to say that it does make a huge difference that you guys do all this.
Well, yeah, and that's,
I mean, it's a tremendous
Saving us
cost.
some
well, it is, and that's, you know,
It
we,
truly is.
and that's why I said I'm a part of a big team. When we have issues, we all try to work together, and we are touching a lot of things, but again, that's what we're asked to do.
Yeah.
And we've been, you know, y'all been gracious to do this, and we're still looking at for the funds, but it's just one of these things that's hit us, and we're under the technology issues than when they start ending life, when we're in the world, and we're constantly getting hit. There's people still constantly getting hit, and when we go around working on these new updates about our emails, our two-step authentication, we're going to hold some safety classes with each department, and it may be in here or going to them, so they don't have to lose much work. But you know, using your government email for personal business don't need to happen, because what happens, a lot of people that you give these emails to don't have the security that they need. They look for .govs, .orgs, or .edus and things like that, and they start hitting us. I mean, it's scary how many hits we're taking on our Firewire and Untangle box right now. It's just ungodly that people are hitting from everywhere trying to get stuff. So, you know, the engineers do a huge, but we're able to save that time to do a lot of it ourselves. And Daniel Jones is the main backbone of that. I'm the wire puller, installer, and do things like that. But he's the brains behind that, and got a lot of his Cisco and IT certification. Him and Thomas are some of the heads of that. But we like helping what we can to save us the funds.
All right, what do you think, Mr. Hartline?
I'm good with it.
Larry?
Yes, I'm good.
Ms. Bradford?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman?
Well, we don't have a choice, really, if you listen to what he says. The
No,
only thing I
no, we
hope
don't.
that we get I hope that we can get as much, use out of this system as we've got. Now, don't come up here and take another 15 minutes. I hope we can give enough use, you know,
Yeah.
because things, it seems like the newer they get, even like air conditioners, you know,
Well,
used to we could get 30 years.
They're all
Now you don't get, you know.
Sometimes, you know, these things are running around the clock in
Yeah.
5-6 years. That's why I say when we have Splosh come up and we asked us taxpayers and
Yeah.
we always budget for this in the Splosh. We know we're going to replace at least half to 3/4 of our current system. And a lot of it's driven off this software end of life stuff. And it is aggravating, and it's costing us more every year to protect what we got to do with all this stuff. And it's out of hand. It's really, it's hard. And
Yeah.
it's hard to look at.
I'm fine with it.
All right, we'll put that on the consent agenda. And we have one more thing, and that is B. And I think this is something, GovOS software. Yes, this is a Mr. Don.
Yeah, so well, Rebecca's right here and Terry's back there, and Patty couldn't be here, but these are, and then Marcy, could you come up and you can pitch it if we need you, so come on up. These are the folks that were on or what do you want to call it, to look at different software here for short-term rentals, and then also our current business license, which is really, what do we call it? I first forgot. The occupation taxes, really occupational taxes. But when you say that, no one knows what you're talking about. We call them business license in Georgia. Anyway, so our current occupational license, tax business license software is really bare bones. When we bought it, I mean, I was really thinking 50, 80 business license. We have what? Close to 300? And that's amazing to me. We have 300 businesses, and those are the ones we know about. All right, there's a few, you know, out there. So that is really bigger than what our current software can do. And another thing is, we are still having to mail out all of our applications and renewals every year instead of taking them over through the internet, through an email, letting the business owner retrieve that through an email system. And then ultimately, they're allowed to renew it online, pay their fee or their occupational tax, and then also print their license at home or at their business, wherever. It's their paper, it saves us time, saves the county energies and resources. And now we'll still be available. If they want to come in, we'll talk to them and we'll deal with those individuals as we need to, no problem. But a lot of people want to be able to do this from their home or their business. That's the business license side of it. The other side is the short-term rental solution. As we all know, we passed the accommodations tax a few years ago, an excise tax. Since then, the Georgia legislature approved a House bill 3 years ago, I guess now, that the short-term rentals fall under that law. And they automatically would collect short-term rental companies, and I thought there was VRBO and Airbnb. No, how many are there? There's like 73 out there, which is actually amazing. That actually do these kind of services locally. That's way too much. We don't have the time or the staff to monitor 73 companies on a daily basis to see who is using them and who's not using them locally. And so since that law came into effect, there's companies that have basically been created, right? As a result of that, and there's about 3 big ones in the community, meaning community of the Southeast, that we've taken a look at. We've been studying this for about 18 months, and Granicus was kind of at the top of the list, but then out of the blue, a company called GovOS sent Patty an email. She forwarded it to me, so we started to do an investigation on them. He came down, Noah came from Knoxville, Tennessee, came down and spoke to us, did a fabulous job, answered our questions, but made some notations that we couldn't believe. Currently, we're right around $350,000 in hotel motel taxes now. You think that sounds awesome. I'm blown away by that number, because I was thinking it would be about $28,000 a year or something. I had no idea, because we have neither a hotel nor a motel in the unincorporated area, but we have apparently over 300, approximately 321 that we've identified short-term rentals. And I say short-term rental because they're not all Airbnb, they're not all VRBO, they're a mix of many things. And so these companies do a multitude of things, one of which monitors online access 24/7. Now, they'll go out, and I think they call it scraping?
Scraping.
Scraping, all right. So, and they'll scrape the internet for Dade County's borders. They call it geocoding and geo something. Y'all can help me out if I'm... Anyway, so they take a look at all that information. What was it, Carrie? Twice a day? One of them reported doing it twice a day, one reported doing it twice a week. Right now, we're not doing it at all because we have no way to do it. And so we are proposing that we do this, and that unimaginable information that we got that I mentioned a minute ago was talking about pretty much doubling, if not tripling, based on what they know about, that people simply are not paying their fair share. They own these, they're just not remitting it. And most of Airbnb and VRB are being caught because they are responsible, but it's the other people that are doing it on an individual basis. It's just not fair. It's like having a health permit, like, this is a restaurant, but somebody over here doesn't have a health permit. Well, it's just not the same thing, or having a general contractor's license, and anyway. So we are looking at doing this, that there's an online registration portal. It allows us to, the company will provide a 24/7 hotline that will answer not only our questions, but the citizens' questions or the owners' questions. And also, if someone is struggling with an owner that maybe every weekend there's 5 cars parked in their driveway because next door is a Airbnb, it gives them a way to report it. And this company will listen to them, make reports back to us, and then we have the ability to do what we want to with that information. I mean, we escalate the sheriff's office or whatever our ordinance allows us to do. So our current fee for an annual license is $25. I was talking to Putnam County this past weekend, and they're proposing $5,000 per year. Now, that's a huge, there's no way I would ever sit here and say that. And that was a commissioner that owned 7 short-term rentals that proposed that in Putnam County. And I was like, wow. I don't even think $1,000. I think $100 is pretty reasonable. And that $100 actually would pay the fee for this software on an annual basis. Regardless, the income created from that would be more than sufficient to pay for the software. And they proposed, we heard as high as 1.1 million. Now, I don't believe that. I really don't. But I do think 800,000 is possible based on projections, and that's being conservative. So what have I missed? I mean, the reason I would ask Marcy is because, of course, the chamber, the Alliance for Dade, is our partner that uses some of these resources for tourism. And so, you want to say a few
Right, well, part of the law was that the hotel motel taxes collected, the 8%, has to be divvied up a particular way, and the county keeps a third of it, so there's a benefit to the county if we can increase that number. And part of it comes to the Chamber of Commerce Alliance for Dade, but has to be used for particular purposes to help maintain our visitor welcome center here in the square, next to Robin's office, and to help promote tourism. And now that we have this money coming in that was, we couldn't believe at first, but we're very grateful for, now we're able to do a whole lot more with helping to promote events in the county. We're developing more brochures and cards that visitors guide, magazine articles, letting people know about what a wonderful place Dade County is, and it's a great place to visit and spend your money while you're here. And I think part of it too is just that this helps with the enforcement. I mean, the county doesn't have someone who can go around and knock on doors and say, hey, you're renting your cabin out here. Do you have the proper permits, and are you collecting that 8% tax from the people who stay here? And she says, well, no, I'm not. Well, we don't have any way of enforcing it. This will help us do it, because that'll help us identify those properties that aren't following the law.
But now this is not what we don't want to do. Is we're not going to turn this group loose here. And he's talking about enforcement. We're not going to turn him loose as a type of no. We're going. If we do this at all, we need to control this place. We're the people that voted. We're the people. Say the people today. We want to bring some outside group in here. No. I agree. You need to pay your fair share, but they're not going to hound their people to death.
No.
I know.
They don't call them at all.
And we need to have a control totally over them. And if we want to end this right here, and they start, and we start getting this feedback from these people that's negative, we need to be able to cut them off without a penalty.
And that's exactly right. And we brought that up to them, and we have a 30-day, we can cut it off within 30 days.
Yep.
And they are not contacting the customer at all.
That's
period.
Okay.
We've already checked.
They're letting us know.
It's for the consumer or the owner to contact them if they have a need. And that's from setup of the software to any complaints that they have, or if someone's wanting to gripe about something, they can report it to this number, but they're going to report it to us. They take no action whatsoever, period.
This might be,
This is just a
I don't know if
management.
this is a question but for this or not, but, I would be interested to know what they consider a short-term rental.
It goes exactly by our ordinance, how
Okay.
we've identified that.
And
Right.
do we, I don't know that, do we know that?
Yeah, they
Sure,
break it
it's
down.
in-
It's broke out in there as a definition, of short-term rental, it's just that's right on the first or second page. It
Yeah, and
gives a definition,
It's-
It probably follows Georgia law.
It does. It's basically anything
I just
under,
haven't
it's
read it.
anything under 30 days.
Under
But
30
anything over
days.
30 is
Okay.
considered it's not short-term, I guess.
It's
I don't
just a
know.
rental.
It's just a rental.
Right.
Long-term rental, I
Okay.
guess. I don't know.
Yeah, 30 days is the,
And there's even exceptions for that. Let's say we have a tornado or something and you have to rent, your house is gone, and you rent a short-term rental or your own insurance or whatever. Well, you don't have to pay the 8%, but that's the ordinance. That has nothing to do with.
Well, I was just
Yeah.
curious about what that was and how
Local
that.
residents do not pay anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
we're trying to
understand
make
that.
this so that it has nothing to do with tax base or military. This is self-contained. It's an excise tax. Excise taxes should take care of themselves. That's the purpose behind the excise tax, so.
it's not a tax on the owners of the property.
Sure,
It's a
yeah.
tax that the renters are paying, so it's just passing it through.
And how many times do you go on vacation and say, I don't know if I want to pay that tax, so. You just pay it and you're happy to go on vacation, I guess. And I'm amazed at how many people we have. How many short-term rentals we have. They are everywhere. There's 481 listings, but we can only identify truly 321. 364 include the city. And so, the city has a few, but no, the city has their own method and collection. We're not including the cities. It's just the unincorporated area. And, of course, they have a motel too, which helps.
Two? Two.
Two, I'm sorry, you're right.
All right, so we're looking at this annual total for this service,
That's-
41,000.
And they had a 7% increase, but we got that down to, if there is an increase, it's 3%. So, and that is in for 3 days.
Well, if there's any reason you want to terminate it though, in
can do it
3
at any
months,
time.
is this all paid up front or is it
That will be paid
quarterly or whatever?
front, but that, again, is not tax money. That's coming straightly out of accommodation.
We don't have that information to look at.
It's under B.
We don't have nothing.
I got B, but nothing's
Yeah,
coming
B
up.
with nothing.
Are you signed in?
Yeah,
Are you on the,
Y'all,
I have it.
oh, I've got Ted's books to read, I'm looking at.
it's,
I have a copy right
are you
here.
signed in or are you on the
I'm on it.
public domain?
No, I'm on it. Been on it all night.
I got you on it, but are you signed in?
Don't have it either.
I've got it right here. You're not logged in. Here you go.
I'm not getting on to it, I'm not getting on to it.
Because it's a public domain, anybody can see it.
Okay.
There you go. Just have to
Let's don't start all over again.
Yeah.
Go to the top left and look for login.
So this was basically done to make a level playing field with motels and hotels and, because people were having to pay that and then the state asked for another $5 a day if you stay in a motel over here just for that. And people were renting Airbnbs or whatever and they just paying rent and it's kind of making everybody pay their fair share of a rental.
Right.
In business,
In business license, it gives them an opportunity to be able to pay online.
Yeah.
And do
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
online instead of having to.
which the state does that already that
Oh, yeah,
way,
I mean,
by
everybody's doing
online,
it, so-
yeah.
But as far as the raising that license fee that we have, we would have to do that through changing ordinance.
Yeah, that's an ordinance change. That's not.
We'd have to bring that up later. So right now, we're dealing just whether or not we're gonna wanna go with this
Right.
company.
Because
Because we can always watch and see what difference it's making in 6 months. Because I'm amazed at the amount of money that we get as well that you were talking about earlier. I never dreamed it'd be that much, we're
Get it?
a small county, but people still like to come to the country and small counties to spend time and they don't want a hotel. So they find an Airbnb. I mean, people are doing it all the time, so. So, what do you
I
think?
don't have a problem with, as long as we have full control over the people, and we know it's not some,
Yeah.
someone said something about policing, some policing force we're bringing in. That's
No,
not.
no.
Well, it would be-
But if they do what they say and what this is, sounds good, it's fair, it's fair. They're gonna be able to, monitor the internet for any of this solicited advertisements and all that, something we can't do.
But as far as the policing, it is like somebody said, you got 5 people staying here, and you got 5 cars, and they're pulled over
Yeah.
on my grass that I take care of and mow. Then you've got a right to ask the sheriff's department or the city police to come
Well,
and
you
say,
could
you
call
know.
that number 24/7.
But they're still not
And
gonna
they're-
do it, you're still
yeah.
gonna have to call.
They're not
They're
gonna,
gonna
Yeah.
tell us.
We're not law enforcement,
Right,
anyway, we can't enforce, we can make laws, but we don't enforce them, that's the sheriff and the police, but that would be something, 'cause, and I've gone through that, I've gone through somebody thinking, well, I can just park out here on this place and.
I know we get it all the time, on lookouts, so.
So, I'd ask the question, but any other questions?
What is the price? I ain't got it. pulled.
$41,140.57.
That's for both. That's a business license and short-term.
Yeah.
It's 2 programs, really.
Now, is that based on the 25,
On the what?
the $25?
No,
Oh.
that's, no, the 25 is, no,
Okay.
no, that's just, I mean, if they identify 400, it's 400. If they identify 200, it's 200.
I think that's everything.
You have any?
41,000, where's that gonna come from?
Hotel motel tax. Hopefully the fee, if we can do the $100, I think it would actually be just, the fee would raise just a little bit over that.
I'm like Ted, I'm good with it, but I'd like to watch it for a month or 2.
I'm all for taking it out of the city too, just go ahead and take it all out of the city. I mean,
Take it out of the city. He just left. so-
I know, that's why I
Yeah.
said it. Ansel's still back there.
That's how you get volunteers when you leave.
Yep.
Mr. Hartline,
I'm good with it.
Mr. Lowry.
Thank
Yes. Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
how
sir.
say ye?
Fine, yep.
All right. Put that on the consent agenda. All right, we've got a couple more. We have a couple more things here. Number 9 is the resolution R20-23, agreement between a Hand Up Ministry and Dade County for services. Mr. Rex Mayo,
Yeah. and Joe-
or is he just here for?
We just want y'all to come up and tell us a little bit who you are, and then I think Robin needs some information.
Well, I'm Rex Mayo, and we have the opportunity to be able to represent a Hand Up Ministry, which come about in, let me see, 16, I think, is when we were incorporated in the county. And it all came about because we were making some headroads into some people in the jail. A lot of broken people in our jail system. I've been working with 3 generations over there in that jail, and some of you could probably call some of those. But we were making some inroads, leading them to Christ, helping them to turn their lives around. And I was met on the outside one day by a man that said, Mr. Rex, is there anywhere in Dade County safe that I can go to? Because I burn all my bridges and I don't have any safe place to go. And I told him, I said, no, but I patted him and said, I'll pray for you. And it just wore me out that somebody had a need and we didn't, and I had no idea how to do it. I really just wanted to find somebody that'd be willing to do it, and I was going to help them. And it all came about that I became that person to be able to do it. So since this time, we've been taking not just inmates and bringing them out of the jail and bringing them into a home, a structured environment. We do take people literally from the street sometimes that are just struggling, don't have a way to be able to, they don't have any kind of support. And we've been able to help some people. Our focus is most of the people that we deal with have a drug or alcohol related problem. through our Celebrate Recovery that we have that's active in the community. It not only deals with those things, but any kind of hurt, habit, or hang up. And so God has helped us be able to, of course, we started off with 2 homes that somebody just give us permission to be able to use. And we moved one woman in one home and one man in the other home. And since that time, we've been able to purchase both of those properties. Actually, one of them was donated to us. And so we have those 2 properties, another property, and then most of you are aware of where our Hope House Cafe is. That was a nursing home that some unfortunate things came up, and it became available, and we were able to get that, and that's where we house all of our women over there. And we're making a difference. We get up every day and just try to connect with people and try to help them. And I was thinking, just sitting here, and I guess being in here and hearing you guys kind of triggered me. One of the goals that we had for our ministry was to take broken people and be able to put the support around them that we could to help them be able to become productive citizens in the community. Well, we have people that are not in jail being housed and us feeding them, taking care of, but they work a job in our county, at one of our businesses. They rent a home here in Dade County. They buy our groceries at one of our their groceries at one of our grocery stores. They have become productive, tax-paying citizens, and I'm just stand amazed at what has been done. And of course, we can't help everybody. I wish we could. Those are the ones that keep me up at night sometimes. But we're just thrilled, and it's not just. Certainly not me. It's a community. This is one of the best communities I've ever been a part of in my life. Caring people that want to come together and be able to help make a difference. And through community people, through churches, I believe Hand Up is making a difference in our community. I'll hush. I can talk for half a night and you just bore you to death. But any questions that you have concerning anything that we do?
Are y'all a 501c3? Are y'all?
501c3, yes.
On your property, on the properties that y'all own, are y'all exempt from property taxes, or y'all pay county property taxes on that?
We are exempt on those properties. All but one. We've just purchased one this year.
Joe, do you have anything about, as far as jail and recidivism?
So from a jail standpoint, I mean, regardless, there's no community left unscathed when it comes to this drug problem. And on average, in a percentage, you're looking at a good 75% of what sits in that jail on a constant everyday basis has to do with drugs. To sit there and say, we don't have the problems that most communities and some counties have, thank the Lord, but, to sit there and say, we're just not willing to deal with it, or we're not going to deal with it. Well, your tax dollars are already dealing with it. Your tax dollars are dealing with it from a jail standpoint. And if you look around at success rates, I mean, on average, the state thinks that anywhere from a 12 to 14% success rate in a drug program or a state-run drug program is good. Is worth bragging over. I don't really call that worth bragging for. So far in the last 5 years, what we've seen come out of Hand Up program has been greater than, I don't want to put a percentage on it or say how many. That'd be up to Rex, but we've seen a lot more come out of the program. What's gone in and come out. Does everybody pass the program? No. But we've been 5 years in this community. Hand Up program has not had any travesties, big blow up in the news media, and actually the community has pretty much there's been enough good come out of the program that the community has recognized it in a positive standpoint. And we hadn't really had to have a selling point, I guess, or hadn't had to sell it to the community. It's been running long enough that it's making an impact and a difference on a positive standpoint in our community. So I think this will go. I don't think this is going to be 100% finance or all funds. I don't think y'all are looking at that direction, but every little bit helps. And positive outweighs the negative, and we're dealing with a lot bigger problem today than we were even 3 years ago. Before your open borders and before this fentanyl blew up. Fentanyl is just about mixed in with almost everything right now. And of course, like the fire department, they left for Narcan class. I mean, our jailers, our deputies were buying that stuff, and primarily it's for the officers because you don't ever know who you're going to come in contact with, and it's going to get in the air, so and affect the officer or the jail officer. We've had 2 exposures in the jail, so to sit here and say, well, it's not that big of a problem for Dade County, it's just not being discussed in Dade County openly. And again, like I said, I'm not trying to paint a horrible light as to our problem here, but there is other counties that have it a lot worse. But most of the positive that happens here is due to Hand Up Ministries and the churches working together in supporting Hand Up, and then also the churches working independently and separately, putting their hands around these people and help them walk this recovery thing out. Rex mentioned Celebrate Recovery. We started Celebrate Recovery inside the jail about 2 years before Celebrate Recovery outside the jail became a thing. And, the sheriff, that is one of the things that when he put me in my position, he tasked me with. He said, we got to do something about this. We got to make a difference because, what we're doing is not working. And, just to lock people up for making bad decisions ain't working. You got to have something out there and support, and some people out there with the right heart to help them walk through it. And, 5 years later, I can honestly tell you that, maybe our problem ain't as bad because, 5 years ago, Hand Up come in effect. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
So this came up because we, about a year or so ago, we passed a resolution accepting opioid funds. And opioid funds are, as a result of Big Pharma that was being sued, and Robin can tell you more about all that, but we ended up going with a Tate Law Firm, I believe, and they helped us get through that process. And so we've started seeing some funds come in. I think it's around 150,000, wasn't it about 150,000, 152, I don't know. And we didn't know, at the time, we had no clue. We were told initially, it was going to be lots of money. Then when nothing happened, we thought, well, maybe nothing's coming in. But as the federal courts have ruled, initially they were wide scope. You can use the money however you want to use it. And okay, we'll take that money. Then they come down and get it funneled way down to basically it's for the care, treatment, other programs, and expenditures designed to address the misuse of abuse of opiate products, treat or mitigate opiate use or related disorders, or mitigate other alleged effects of, including on those injured as a result of the opiate epidemic. That's pretty specific. So as of March this year, I had to do a report on how many funds we've spent to the court, the federal court, because the Big Pharma folks that's funding all of this wanted to see how are the funds being used. And I think really what they want to see is, are the funds being misused and outside of the scope of this? And that was probably the intent of it. But I had to report, and I did report zero because we haven't spent any. And as you know, when we take money in the general fund, if we don't use that by the end of the year, it goes into the fund balance. And when it gets in the fund balance, it gets complicated to get back out. So we really need, first of all, to segregate the money into a special account. I mean, we just do. That way those funds can't get processed at the end of the year.
I thought that's what you did up front, that we actually did a.
We didn't, but we need to.
Yeah, we need to.
We really need to keep them separate.
Yep.
And, but it's settlement, these are settlement funds that's got a specific use. And that's where this came from. This is how this came about. We just have limited resources as to how to use the funds, so. And now, Robert.
Yep. So when this came to me, I raised concerns, like church-state issues, concerns about this, that we need to be careful when we use the funds, that we're not using it for a religious purpose. And there's some very specific rules for that. And so this came up, I guess, originally last month. And so I'd done the research, and that's kind of what I thought. But as I said today to someone, these issues don't come up that often for governmental entities. And so, so I had that concern. Today I spoke with someone from ACCG in their legal counsel office, and they were concerned about that as well, but frankly, their primary concern, as I understood, was having to do with the gratuity clause. And they suggested that we get with someone in ACCG who spent a lot of time on this issue about how the money should be spent and for what purposes. And to the extent that we can, don't take action on this tonight and put it off to
They assigned it like a task force? Because I didn't know that even, I know there's got to be someone in there doing it.
There's a person.
It's attorney.
Yeah, but it's in their office.
ACCG.
It's in the ACC, don't you?
She sends out our emails that,
Megan, was it?
Megan Markham, I think.
yeah, Megan Markham,
No,
yeah.
no, that is, yeah.
And so that was the recommendation. That's what I would suggest that we do if we can wait.
Yeah.
What we need to do.
I think we table is.
When you're researching, find out if we can use that money to pay back some of our Narcan costs and our medicine costs and stuff like that.
Is that, so previous expenses, though, you're saying, okay, that's what you're saying.
Previous and upcoming expenses, I think.
Probably upcoming you can, but it probably would have to be within this, window that we started receiving, it might be, but I doubt, but I'd say previous. I mean, in the next, as we start purchasing as we go, we probably
We can, and we checked into that, but the problem, I mean, it's not a problem, it's, Narcan has all of a sudden started dropping in price because they've made it over the counter, the nasal something. And you can buy up as much as you want, but if, let's say we use $50,000, it's got an expiration date.
It's got 2 years, 2 years now, I found out before the meeting, but that is from the time the supplier got it, which may have had it in a storage for 6 months or 8 months, so you
We
still.
can't use, once it expires, we really can't use it. And because then there's a huge liability. We could give it away, I guess. Maybe.
But here
I'm not even
lately,
sure about that, really.
we've
but
been using
anyway.
a lot of it lately, though, I'll tell you.
Well, how much on average do we use?
It just depends. I mean, we were,
what's the
Sheriff's
worst?
Office today is us working on some of this stuff. Joseph, Tommy, Matt, myself, the tri-state, what's that group up on 299?
Tri-State.
Oh, the meth.
Yeah, the methadone, the
Methadone.
tri-state, they donated some Narcan to the sheriff's office. They signed a card. It was, and it expires March of '24. It's just like every drug. It's Nalox is what we carry on the ambulance as well. When these narcotics and drugs are given to us, they got a prescription date. We log it into our checkoff system, and then when it's expired, we pull it off the truck, put fresh back on. And then I have containers behind 2 locked doors in 911 where all that stuff is stored and locked and disposed of properly through narcotics. To say how many we use, I can't tell you, but the exposures that Joseph has talked about are real. Myself and Ansel, along with 2 deputies, showed up right over here at the Chevron, the old Exxon, one day during a fire alarm at the elementary, and Deputy Gorey was done pushed 2 of them on the gentleman doing CPR, and those files, right, those nasal connections that they carry are $60 to $64 for 2 nasal packs, and usually that's two for them and 2 for the officer. Now, we've had people that have grabbed them like this and that fentanyl bell on their hands and it's above their gloves and they start getting exposed. Our brothers and sisters in Walker County dealt with some pretty hard stuff. Yeah. And 3 or 4 of their firemen were exposed pretty heavily during an event. And then the same night, less than 12 hours later, the same drug hit Walker County. I think there was 3 or 4 that passed away from that. It's kind of a new norm for us, I guess. We really watch what we're doing when somebody's overdosed, and if it's with that, you don't let people touch you. You try to wear long sleeves or hurry up and put something on. And we have to buy and keep. Right now, every volunteer fire department has 5 doses that has 10 milligrams in it apiece that they draw up in a vial that was given to us today. They put this nebulizer thing on the end, and they shoot it up the nose by 2 milliliters at a time. But that's the problem, is we got to have enough to replace, but we also got to have enough to take care of 1 or 2 for the patient, and the rest of it's for the first responder.
So I order all the Narcan for the sheriff's office. I typically order twice a year. My order will be 10 to 14 boxes on average, twice a year. In addition to that, I'd order all of the fentanyl rated gloves, that the detention officers wear when they're handling, the deputies wear when they're out on scene dealing with it. And, we use a decent amount of gloves, and we're paying a little bit more for the fentanyl rated gloves and the stronger ones, but, to have a deputy or fireman or EMS, somebody working in an ambulance to bust a glove and have exposure, a little bit more is okay, in my opinion, for that added insurance that we know is reliable and it works. And, I wasn't prepared to tell you on the gloves.
That's fine.
Typically on the gloves, I'm just gonna guesstimate, usually on average, I'm gonna say about 4 cases. And when I say cases, there's 10 boxes per case, typically about 4 cases per 2 months.
How much per case? How much money?
I'll be honest with you, I'd hate to quote it right now.
And it's so much that every car, every person they touch, they're putting their gloves on there as soon as they get out of the car. They're pulling the gloves out, every house they go into, every car they search, anything we do, anywhere, everybody's got gloves on. And 90% of the time, we're still wearing our mask. Just because if you go in that, you don't know where it's at in the house. And truthfully, when I get home, I have to strip, or I leave my clothes and bag them, take them back to the fire hall and wash them in those machines we bought with some of the COVID funds when we were doing with that to clean our clothes, because I don't want it in my house.
Is there expiration, or what would it be on the gloves?
There is some.
Everything breaks down over time.
It's 2 or 3 years, yeah. I mean, if they're out exposed, but we get the heavier nitrile gloves that Joseph's talking about. They're really thick and they're a little bit higher on our wrist and stuff, because when you're working on somebody, sometimes they grab you, and it's just one of those things. And we hurry up and wash now, because that fentanyl that they use is the stuff that they scrape off those patches that a lot of people wear, and it absorbs through your absorption type system.
But to answer your question, yes, we can absolutely use money to do that, and would.
Yeah.
I mean,
And to answer your question, I just pulled a quote up, it's $65 a case.
For the gloves?
Mm.
so,
And then
And that's today's price.
right now, this is stuff that's in
case.
our current
New orders 12
fund
a year.
balance, or our general fund that we do this out of.
All right, thank y'all. So we're looking at tabling this till we can look a little more into it through ACCG. legal. Yeah, let's see, what we got?
Did you get, Chambers' flush valves up there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he went ahead while he
Before we
was,
move on, I think
he
we
was
should
up
go
on the-
ahead and put that in an account though.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I'll make a note.
Resolution R 2223, sale and disposal of county capital equipment and declared surplus property. I think we have a lawnmower.
Yes, we have that lawnmower and actually three HVAC units are on there. And, so all those will be available on govdeals.com tomorrow.
Any questions for that?
Those are the ones that we took out of the ag building, all those big old units that they had in there, and they're just down in the shop.
In the way?
They're in pieces, kind of.
All right, now, 11, the announcement of FY '24 county maintenance operational budget, Don. It's just a schedule, right?
Yeah, it's just a schedule, and, so budget's going well. We've got, well, we had on here May 1st to end, but we haven't. We'll have about probably another week or so. Most, directors, constitutional officers, whoever's over budgets, have not made a lot of changes. We give them and provide them a suggested proposed budget, and some have actually come back with less. So that's I know, it's unbelievable. I knew you'd fall out of your seat when I said that. But so far, most have agreed to that, or it's less, and so we've already shaved about 300,000 off the budget, proposed budget, and
Is the sheriff been in?
still have more
Has
shaving.
the jail been in yet?
No.
No, the jail.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been in. We've talked many
I
times.
thought he might be listening,
We got a couple of line items we gotta work on.
Thank you,
but
Joe.
Overall, not bad. And, so overall, it's going well. We'll probably, I'm hoping to wrap up most of it up by next Friday. We just have been so busy with everything else. And it's hard for all of us to be here at one time. And, then June the 8th, we will have a public hearing here in this room at 5 PM. And that'll be to just review, like we always have to by law, the date, the amounts, and we'll have the stakeholders or the directors and officers here to discuss, answer any questions, and then hopefully have something prepared, ready for you to consider at a special call meeting on June 15th at 5 PM here in this room as well. And then we'll get into the military next month.
Yeah, I think we had one more addition, that was Lamar's, something about the election building,
Just,
information.
yeah, I wanted to get an update, because rumors are building out there that it's fell through. It's not gonna be big enough now.
What are you talking about?
We said we were gonna, the elections building.
Fell through, no, we're working, we're fixing to build a pad next week on
Well,
it.
that's what I'm wanting to get
I
out
don't know
there.
who started this.
So, anyway, that's a good way to put out rumors, is to ask questions here at this meeting.
I'll give a report on it when when I do my report, I can tell them where we're at on it, you know. I mean, Alex, he's been doing a lot of work on it. We got a preliminary drawing, you know, he's got of the actual size of it, and we're on a certain size, we can build on that lot anyway over there. And he and Lou on has put it together, and they've got things worked out, you know, and it's shrunk it down, you know. So we're gonna, if weather permitting, next week, we're gonna be working on that pad over there, getting it done, and then we'll move from there. Hopefully the weather, while we got our loaders and all over there, we'll move down on the shelter down there and try to get at least the pad itself built. Of course, the pad's always larger than the building because you gotta control the water. So, no, we've been moving wide open on it.
That's why.
Not even counting the railroad up there.
That's why we talk about it here in public.
Yeah.
If we're squelching rumors, we're not shutting down the transfer station either.
Well, that's
I know.
my next-
Somebody asked me that, y'all not taking any more?
Station, but the recycle.
Well, that's
Billy
something.
came and made that report in March and said it's costing us, what was it, $80,000 a year to recycle cardboard.
Right.
I've got some saying, why are y'all keep spending money on that, and then others are saying, are y'all gonna cut that out? Where we at? And we said, in our response that night, that we report on it at the April meeting, our April meeting was short today. We didn't have time.
Well, I'll not go into all this, but you have the Georgia Trend magazine. This happened to be in it, in the headline, let's end wishful recycling. And it goes on down in red here, and this is Georgia Trend and by their pub editor-in-chief, not a county. But and then we'll adjourn this meeting. But why do we have all these companies making money from recycling while the cities and counties collecting and sending the materials are losing money? So this, again, if anybody like to say it's in Georgia Trend magazine, or we'll get you a copy of it, because, you know, I'm for recycling, but that was what we talked about. But it got out, we were gonna shut down the whole, so I don't know, I guess we'd take, I don't know where we'd take it in, but we're not shutting down. The point is, you said, you know, somebody asked that question. We're not shutting down the transfer station, and
So we're gonna keep spending money to.
no, we're
Well,
not, we
to-
may look
to-
at not
to add to
recycling,
that,
but not
though-
not taking your garbage. They thought we were not gonna take
No,
garbage
this,
anymore.
my questions have been about recycling.
Yeah,
Well,
transfer.
the recycling, the way, I mean, there's lots of ways to go about it. Yes, at one point, we were probably making a little bit off of it. We were never making a ton off of it. It is a service that we provide to Dade County. So it's one of those things, if we decide to take it off, it really needs to be discussed and talked about, because that's part of what the people want. So, you know, I don't know how else to put it other than it is a service. It is our job to make sure that we're doing the best we can to make sure that service is properly being handled. And we're looking at different ways. We've suggested to possibly put in for businesses to pay a certain amount to go across the boards, which would help us continue this service. The scales.
well, I'm gonna obey Robert's Rules of Order. I maybe shouldn't have brought that up, but this is not on the agenda, what we're talking about now, so.
What's
transfer
This is a
Well,
work session.
I know,
mean, so,
but it's
yeah.
still, we had to amend the agenda to talk about, and I just squelching rumors, so we're getting into something that was not on our agenda. So it needs to be, but,
Recycling, not any information all the time.
well, we did, but we weren't talking about it. We could, I guess we could amend the agenda if we want to continue the conversation, but,
Yeah, he amended the agenda. That's why I responded
but it
to
was
his-
for, it was for the,
No, it was also
I did
for,
12 and 13. You didn't, you only listened.
well, I brought up the, what you call it. All right, so you want to continue this conversation?
I'm good with not.
No.
Well, no, but what you're saying is true. It is like a service we offer, but still though, you gotta draw a line sometime,
Yeah.
because you cannot, you know, bankrupt, whatever, you cannot spend hundreds of thousands of dollars losing, you know, taxpayer money because of a service, you know, and I agree. I mean, but now if we do this because the majority of this cardboard we're getting and all, they're taking advantage of it. A lot of these companies are, they're bringing it in there. That's where we're getting most of it. It's we're overwhelmed with it. I mean, it's unbelievable. And even wooden pallets and all this stuff, they're bringing it down there, you know, and it's eating,
Yeah, and
it's eating our lunch. I'm
that's
telling
only
you.
my suggestion.
Yeah.
It's not,
Man.
you know, it's definitely involves everybody.
Yeah.
And it's budget time, and I've got people like Melissa that are diehard recyclers, and I've got other people that are saying, what are y'all doing?
Well,
wasting
no,
money on that if you-"
don't get me mixed up with that. I'm not. I am for the service of the people. I'm not a super recycler, or I'm agreeing that it is a service and we've got to do our job to make sure that it's properly done. Or decide to take it away.
We mentioned doing an amount, we kind of suggested $40 for recycling, from a commercial standpoint.
For commercial only.
Because there are one or two businesses that's definitely
Big,
taking advantage.
I mean, big.
They're taking advantage.
If we
of
just
the
handle
situation.
our
I mean, they used
residential,
to do their own
you
boxes.
know, we could go with, I mean, we're not gonna make money by short by
No.
far, but
No.
we would not be burning their wheels off trying to get rid of stuff.
I stopped and talked to the one in Teftonia, talked to the operators down there, they're in the same boat everybody else is.
That's why this article was in Georgia Trend. It's not just Dade County, and I think everybody understands that. China quit, when Monica Mosley was in here 2 or 3 years ago, she said China has stopped taking, and that's where our garbage was going. But it was so dirty, that's what this goes into. Plastic is recyclable, some of it, but not all of it. Plastic bags gums up the machines. If people throw them in something and then put them in there, they tear up and gum up the machines that's trying to get this stuff recycled. So there's a lot more to it than just taking it and getting rid of it. There's what you can take, and where the closest thing we could take, probably take plastic, and it's a maybe, is Dalton to Shaw Industries, because they do use it in some of their manufacturing.
On the back end.
Most everything else is Atlanta or below for cardboard or anything else in our area that you would, and that just means you're hauling it further, so you're certainly not gonna make a profit on it. It's not for profit, but the total service of giving people a place to put their trash, their garbage, their old sofa, their mattress, even though they take it on the hill and pay something for it. But that's the service we offer. Being able to recycle is beyond that, I think, as far as,
Well, we
to
do
a
take
certain-
oil too, and, you know, those certain things, so it all has to be,
Whether it's satisfied both sides, I don't know, we can't do that.
You'll never satisfy.
no.
yeah, I mean, that's,
If you figure out how to do that,
We
well,
need to put a stop on the commercial without paying for it.
Exactly right.
We need to
I
do
agree
that.
100%
We can
on
do
that.
With this work session, talking about it in the work session.
No, we probably need to move on. I agree. And if the chairman wants to, appoint a couple of different suggestions, that'd be fine, but we probably need to.
I think we'll do that. I think I'll get a committee here and we'll give really a report on it this next meeting coming up. We'll get serious on it.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Yeah.
June 1st.
all right, this meeting's adjourned. Let's be back in here at 20 minutes after. Everybody take a quick break and be back in, because we're running rather long.
Yeah, last month, 7:03.
Tire
All right, y'all ready to go ahead? I'm going to call a meeting to order. Appreciate everyone being here tonight. I was late for work session. I hope Robert explained to us. He probably didn't, but I had
He's been to Disney.
my granddaughter, Abigail, got some awards over at the Ag Building tonight, and we're expecting $1 million, so anyway. We'll move on. Robert, as always, would you lead us in prayer and pledge of allegiance, please? Everybody stand? Please.
As we go in prayer, we received word earlier this evening that Mr. Fred Stevens passed away today. A lot of us would know him. He was the first president that when Citizen Bank moved in. Served on a lot of boards and the Hospital Authority and different things. I mean, Northwest Georgia
Joint Development
IDA.
Authority, IDA, yeah.
So a lot of things he's done, and so let's just keep his family in your prayers tonight and comfort them if you know them. And Father, we thank you for a beautiful day that you've given, a beautiful time of years. We see the change and spring coming, and Lord, just a renewal, and we thank you, Lord, for that. We thank you for so many things to live in the place where we live and have the freedoms we have and the benefits of friendship, family, and all that we have. Father, we do pray tonight that you would be with Fred's family and his passing. We pray that you would comfort them over these next days. And Father, we pray tonight that you would continue to bless our meeting together. Lord, again, thank you for the freedom to do what we do here in this county and in our nation. Lord, to have these meetings and bring everything before the public. So bless everything we do, and in some way we might bring you honor and glory. For it's in Christ's name we ask. Amen. Amen. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Robert. This is a regular scheduled meeting of the Dade County Board of Commissioners, which takes place at the same time on the first Thursday of every month. Proper notice this meeting was given our legal origin and also posted in our hallway. At this time, I do need a roll call. Mr. Lowry.
Here.
Mr. Hartline.
Here.
Mr. Goff.
Here.
Ms. Bradford.
Here.
Chair is present. Okay, thank you. We do have a quorum. All right. Anyone want to come up and talk to us tonight? Any comments on their work session? Okay. All right.
I think we bored everybody to death.
What'd you say, Robert? I mean, Lamar, did you say we bored
I think we
everybody
bored
to death?
everybody to death.
Well, it was a long one, but there was a lot said, you know, a lot
work.
said and a lot learned, you know, so that's okay. All right. Move down to Mr. Lowry. You want to go ahead and give your committee report, please?
Okay, I'll do the E911 report. Is for the month of April, we had 204 EMS calls. We had 283 volunteer fire department, I just shouldn't say fire department calls. Police, we had 2,724 for a total of 3,211. We had 12 new 911 addresses and 38 addressed for properties. So I don't know what the difference is. I'll have to get together with Alex and find that out.
That's the total for the year.
Oh, that's the total for the year, okay. And it's 38 for the total for the year, so that's moving on. That's nearly four a month, isn't it? 10 a month. So, well, today is my birthday.
Oh.
It's the,
Happy birthday, Lamar.
64 years old today. Jennifer fixed me a nice loaf of bread. Thank you, Jennifer. I really, it's still warm. Although I look like a loaf of bread, don't I? That's what I look like I need, all right. But this is the second time that in 2006, I had a birthday while serving on the commission board. So I just thought, thank you. So I appreciate serving the county and working with these commissioners. I really enjoy doing that with them. And good group, working with all the people that work for the county, Alex and Ansel back there. I know they work for the city and us, but we appreciate everybody and what you do, so that's all I've got.
I'm not gonna talk a whole lot. The more I talk, the more I cough. The only thing we got coming up on May the 18th, we have the Antique Alley, the yard sale. I think Stacy said we had about 40 spaces available to rent. I think the other day he said about 10 spaces already rented out. There's been some questions about why we're charging $30. We have to pay overtime for employees to go down there and check the bathrooms and pick up the trash. And I think they go twice a day to check everything. And that's pretty much where that fee goes to. We've not had any tournaments to make yet for softball, and it doesn't look like any's going to make. I think we've got one more scheduled for the 20th. This year, there were some things that come up, and we've not had any to make, so that's where we're at on that. And Stacy's, I've not got a chance to talk to him to see where we was at on electrical inspection, so I'm good.
All right. First of all, I'd like to say I had a great time in Romania. I was there about 25 days, so I wasn't at last month's meeting. So if I sat here and say I knew a whole lot about what was going over the last month, it really wouldn't be true. But I did have a great time, and I could talk about it all night, but that's not what you're here for. So, but our splosh, and I would need to look back. I think I kind of gandered back at it, but our splosh was $347,467 and a nickel. And I think, Don, is that a record? I believe that is the most we've ever collected in a month on splosh. And again, that was for 2 months ago. The money coming in now is from 2 months ago. So that is great when you get, we talk about all these things we did here tonight, is to have that opportunity to do them. And most of that will either come out of the AARP funds or the splosh funds. So thank the people of Dade County and everybody that ever passed through and stopped and bought a hamburger. Whatever you done, you put some pennies into that $347,000, and it all added up. And again, I like to say, when we look at this, the school got the same thing. That's $700,000 that came through Dade County on splosh, the e-splosh and the regular splosh. So it's just amazing to me how things get taken care of. So I was asked to talk about a couple of things. This week, on May the 2nd, which happens every first week in May, the Trenton-Dade County Optimist Club put on what's called the annual Law Enforcement Appreciation Ceremony. This was, I think, the 18th year that they've done it. It's actually, Law Enforcement Appreciation's been going on longer than that, but we're one of the few counties that do it and honor these people. So if you look at that, the people that are named there was one that didn't get to make it because he was in some type of training. But we have a deputy from Dade County Sheriff's Department, Deputy Nathan Sledge. We have David Duval, who, by the way, if you see David, he just retired. So he's got plenty of time to rake your yard, mow your grass, whatever you need him to do. But he was honored there as well, even though he just retired from Trenton Police Department. Special Agent Daniel Nicholson with the GBI, Stetson Stevens with the Motor Carrier Compliance Division, and Trooper Ethan Sorrell with the Georgia State Patrol. So these are the people that were nominated. And then you see a picture here of all those and everybody together at the bottom. We had our brand new on the far right, our new DA, who most of you may not have met yet, Clay Fuller. And on the other end, we had a representative, and everyone else usually other than Tom Bounds is there representing the Optimist Club, but everybody else is part of law enforcement in some way or other. So they do a great job, and I thank the Optimist Club for sponsoring that every year, because it is a great thing. And then finally, you see the guys again, but you see who was selected Officer of the Year, one of our own here in Dade County Sheriff's Department, Deputy Nathan Sledge. So if you see him out and about, you'll know who he is by that beautiful picture right there. He does a lot for the county above and beyond that. And then today we had this being Arbor Day or the week, and Miss Eloise Gass, who you see in the very middle there, Ted's trying to push her down, and she just won't fall. Eloise is she's always standing, but she takes this very serious. She's been doing it for years. Very special tree we planted today. You see Billy Massengale down on his knees and looks like he's praying. He's actually getting his hands dirty for the picture, but he and Dane planted, or dug the hole, and we planted the tree. But the special part of this tree, if you look at the top, you see Don and his sister-in-law Lori helping hold the flag, and this tree was planted in honor of Don's wife, Lisa, who passed away just a short time ago after a long battle with cancer. So we hope that, Don can look at it. It's a red dogwood. We hope it takes root and grows and has the most beautiful dogwood petals and flowers on it that you've ever seen, Don. And again, our prayers still with you in your loss. And finally, a picture down there with everybody, and our two judges came by to arrest Eloise, and she's running as fast as she can, but can go nowhere. But they know she's no threat of flight, so they're really not worried about her. But no, they did drop by, and we're glad to see Judge House and also our newest judge, Mr. Art, who was just Arndt, who was just escalated to judge. I guess that's an escalation from DA. So that's what we did today, and thanks to Miss Eloise and everybody, and keep that. So it's a wonderful thing that she does, and she takes it very seriously. That's one of her greatest points in life. That's mine, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Bradford.
I just wanted to touch, a lot is to our programs that we've been able to get, are doing much better, keeping track of numbers at the transfer station. And I just got a report today, and I mean, it tells you everything, down all the numbers. It's pretty awesome. So that's just happening. So we're going to still work on a better way to present it at the meetings. Hopefully that'll be next month. Most important, tire amnesty is next Saturday, the 13th, 9 to 2. We're doing 20 tires, so that'll give you another week to gather up your tires. We're thinking that the storms are going to be a little bit severe in the morning, so they're supposed to taper off, but of course this is happening in the morning, so we're going to go ahead and postpone until next weekend.
Okay.
And happy birthday, Lamar.
Thank you.
Yeah. Another reason too was having problems with trailers too, getting the trailer trailers in here. And it was almost impossible even though we had them scheduled. So they will for sure be here Friday morning anyway. And Billy wants them here early enough to get everything set up. They got it all cleaned off. It looks good, but it's just, we'll just have to, it's what it is, It's been a fast month this month, but had a lot going on, and we've got a lot going on. We've been, I reported our last week, and I think week before we were working, hopefully trying to work with the railroad and on a issue we've been having at the north end, on people being blocked in. Also on Clark Street, this is a reality now. We've started the work on that street up through there. Well, it's actually emergency out for them. Going real good. Did you get any pictures online about that? I gave you some pictures, didn't post in. Okay. Hard to find good help these days, but anyway, it's really, they've come along with us. I mean, they really helped us out. The railroad, and the railroad sometimes is hard to work with. I mean, they're good and they got a massive responsibility, but sometimes they overlook the little things and the people here that really they affect. And I'm glad that they're helping us on this, not financially, but where we're putting it at is mainly on the right of way. We're also going to do this down at Clark Street. They'll give those people an in and out, and for emergency purposes, and that's something neither of these people have ever had, And up until just a year or so ago, there was no reason for them to have it because, it wasn't that big a deal. You had a train that stopped, maybe stay stopped 30 minutes, they move on. But when you start blocking an exit or an inlet and out for people anywhere from 3 to 5 hours at a time, and you're handing kids under a railroad track, under a train, trying to get them home from school, or you got people that get fired from their job because they can't get out of the morning and have been late 3 or 4 times because of that. Something's got to happen. So anyway, it's a positive, it's a win-win for everybody, and not to mention the danger of the EMA, getting in and out over there if we had a fire or we need ambulance. So this will be able to support that, and I'll feel good about it when I see it opened up. We did get the bridges in Rising Fund, finally, they are South Dade paved, the one at Crawfish Creek, the one down at the Allison Creek. If you didn't live down there, you didn't realize how bad it was, especially the one on Allison Creek. There've been several tires that were burst there on a county road, state road. And then one lady actually hit it and lost her, her whole front bumper and everything came off. It was laying on the side of the road, and we pulled in there. So it was really that bad. So they got that. They did a good job, and thank goodness. And they're actually up on the side of the lookout now, the state, and they're finishing that up there, and then they'll be moving on out. We got the facility over at the training center there that the sheriff's department, the building is started. They're coming up with it. We've got a really good road into it, so that's becoming a reality. It's going to be a great asset to our county, our sheriff's department, as far as training of our men. And it's also going to save us in the long run on money because of the money that we've been spending over the years sending these people to train down in middle Georgia and all around Georgia. We'll be able to offer that same training right there. In fact, we'll be able to do some training and generate a little revenue from other counties coming into this facility, because when they get finished with it, it's going to be a nice thing inside, be a lot of things inside. I don't know exactly what they're called, but they're animated things that you do and all, but it's just a good thing. Also, we hope if the weather holds up, we'll be able, this next week, Alex has been working real hard with Luana, trying to get this building kind of downsized to what we need in Dade County as far as elections go. That right there, that we should be able to start that dirt work over there this week, this coming week. And we would have started this week, really, honestly, if we had really narrowed down and knew how big the pad was going to be. And when I say pad, that's the building pad that you start on and you do your concrete. So hopefully while we're in our church pit over there, which the county owns, we will actually be able to build that. And then when we finish with it, hopefully they'll have, they've narrowed that, the actual dog shelter down or animal shelter down quite a bit. And if we can get that true dimension of that corner to corner of that building, we'll know how big to go ahead, and we'll be able to do that and just kind of, do it all at one time, because we've got to get these things done, especially this elections thing, because we've got to get started on our paving. It's that time of the year, we got to go with it and take advantage of the weather. So there's just a lot going on, a lot of things this time of the year, but Billy and them, and we're handling it, and we got the issue. We down at the transfer station, and it's something we're going to really spend some time on this month, getting some answers on that, because like it or not, we're losing a tremendous amount of money on the actual recycling, and so there's something we got to, not that we're going to start recycling, but we've got a lot of our industries that are bringing tons and tons and tons of cardboard in there, bulk cardboard, just putting it up on the hill, when used to, they had these compactors, and they would actually compact it and band it, and they would set it out, and they would find a market for it. It's just like Dollar Generals and all, and when they shut this one down here, Oil Fred's, we bought their compactor. It was only like a year old. We bought a $25,000 compactor for like $1,300, because ours was down. But that's what they did. They would get a dozen of these bales up, and they handled it. They took care of theirs. They had a company to come by and pick it up. So we need, if they're going to put the burden on all of our taxpayers, then they just need to pay a little bit, I mean, it's just the way it is, So we need to really get on that and look at it. And Melissa, she's kind of in charge of that end of it, and we'll spend some time on it, and we'll do our jobs. We got to do our jobs. I mean, some people won't like it, some people like it, but anyway. But if y'all got anything else you want to add, maybe you forgot. All right, well, let's move on. And all right, let's move down to Miss Laura Beth Cunningham.
Well, we have had a very good month in 4-H. Our shotgun team went to the qualifying match over in Chautauqua.
Can y'all hear? Is she going out where you can hear? Are y'all picking her up on the mic and everything? Everything's good?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll try to stand closer.
And get that Johnny Cash voice there, get it out.
Yeah. But we went to Chautauqua, and I would say that we absolutely swept the Chautauqua match. Our senior team, they placed first, and we had 2 of the 3 top shooters. Sam Wooten shot a perfect 25, and it took 4 rounds of doubles to finally get those 2 guys
Did he win it?
separated. He didn't. He got second.
Oh, man.
I mean, it was
Yep.
it was pretty
Man.
intense, and it was really good. And then Levi Schreim was the 3rd overall senior shooter, and then the junior team, they got first. They had the top 3 shooters. They actually had about the top 5 shooters. But I'm super proud of them, and we appreciate the county letting us use the old landfill to practice. We've had much better weather this year, so they've really practiced, and it's paid off.
Well, it's gonna be good too. We're not just letting you use it. It's a facility now. When we get these training facilities built over there, y'all are gonna be figured into that, and y'all will have a nice place. It won't be like, something that you've been using. It'll be a kind of a permanent thing there, and we can have, maybe host some events,
Yeah, we can
That's
host
what
the
I'm saying.
district qualifier.
Yes, yeah.
But I'm really excited for them. They're gonna go to state this next weekend, so I have pretty high hopes for them because that senior team actually scored a 96 out of 100, which that's
good.
That's good. That's
Real good.
really high for us. So we might actually have a really good chance at state this year. Our homeschoolers meeting, I did poor scheduling and scheduled it during like when all the homeschoolers go on their field trips and stuff. But I did have quite a few kids show up still. And we talked about oil spills, and then we did a little STEM activity where I coated a bunch of feathers in oil, and they tried different things to clean them off to mimic cleaning up an animal. So that was a lot of fun. Our next meeting is going to be next Wednesday at 1 o'clock at the Ag Center. We also went to the district poultry judging contest, and I mean, we haven't had a poultry judging team in about 5 or 6 years, so I was really proud of these little guys too. They placed 5th out of 12 teams. Braxton Wood, he was the 4th He was the 3rd place out of all 56 of the juniors. He actually would have gotten 3rd. He tied for 3rd, but they used the oral reasons to break that tie, and he had 1 point less than the 3rd place little boy. So they did really good. They're all excited to come back and do it again next year. So I was really glad with that team too. We're about to hit all of our summer programs, and I have packed the schedule pretty well because I love the summertime. So we're doing a lot of day camps. We're going to start out the end of the month with our gardening camp. We had purchased a greenhouse last year and did a camp around it, and we're going to do that again this year and put more plants in it. We're going to have 2 chicken day camps, one in June, one in July. That kind of centers around our Chick to Chicken project. I'm picking up chicks on Friday or on Saturday, and so everybody's going to get their chicks this year on Saturday, and then we'll start that whole Chick to Chicken process.
Where you pick them up? You got, are they donated chickens or what?
Oh, no, we buy them. I bought them from a hatchery called the Poultry House. It's right outside of Nashville.
Oh, really?
And I switched to this because the teenager that runs this poultry house is a 4-H'er, and she started this whole business from the Chick to Chicken 4-H program. So I'm really trying to support her.
Yeah.
Like, she has this massive business now, so I'm really going to try to stick with them.
So they're not just an average chicken, they're souped up chickens.
Yes, they are, yeah. And she is an 11th grader, and she is running this huge like poultry house now. So I'm trying to be very supportive of all 4-H'ers.
That's good.
The other day camp is called Water Everywhere, and it just revolves around what water does for us in so many different ways. And then on the 3rd day, we're going to take a canoe trip. We got some field trips, and then on the next slide, I'm a big hiker. So I'm taking several hikes this year and taking a bunch of kids with me, and that's always fun. The Tri-State Beekeepers Association meeting is going to be on Monday, May 15th at 7 p.m. And then, of course, we have the Cattlemen's Association that will be on the 16th. It's going to be at Walker this month. And we're going to talk about practical applications of genomics of commercial beef. So that sounds really exciting. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm excited to hear about it too. That is
Okay.
it.
Who's doing the seminar? Who's doing the actual lecture on it? Is it a UGA person or is it on the?
It's usually UGA, let me see, I have it on my slide, or UT.
UT.
Okay.
Sometimes UT does quite a bit. It does not say who it is, but that one might be a UT grad.
Yeah.
It's the University of Tennessee Department.
Yeah.
Troy Road.
Troy Rowland.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, good report. We
Good job.
appreciate it, yeah. All right. All right, Mr. Don Townsend, we'll move down to number 5. If you would give us our financial report, please.
As of April 30th, 2023, the general fund had a balance of $2,123,411. Currently have a certificate of deposit on investment, $1.5 million, for a total of $3,623,411. Federal Asset Fund, U.S. Treasury, 0. Sheriff Special Fund, $7,498. Drug Abuse Education Fund, $7,682. Supplemental Juvenile Services Fund, $28,748. Victim Assistance Fund, $1,201. Jail Fund, $6,721. Federal Asset Fund, Department of Justice, 0. American Rescue Plan, $1,618,594. Accommodations Tax, Excise Tax, $243,112. Employee Flexible Spending Account, $10,124. Payroll Account, $76,506. Under SPLOST, we still have $97,602 under the 2015 SPLOST. And in the 2021 SPLOST, the project's account has a balance of $75,001. And the Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax Proceeds account has $2,266,408. Looking at the next page, we have our county income statement as of March 31st. We have the actuals for March was $689,325,000, and that was budgeted at $1,002,592. That's a big difference, $313,266 short. Thank goodness, though, some of that came in the prior months, and so year to date, we have a balance of $11,316,174, and we had budgeted $10,959,301, so we actually are in excess of $356,872. Looking at the general fund for the expenses, as of March 31st, we spent $1,039,649. Budgeted was $1,079,512, so we were under budget $39,863. And year to date has expensed $10,085,132.15, and budgeted we had $10,205,057. Therefore, we have under budget for year to date on expenses by $119,925. Budget attained so far should be 75%. We were on revenues 84.99%, and expenses attained were at 74.35%. Local option sales tax for the month of April came in at $260,532.36. And for SPLOST, it came in at $347,467.05. And just looking quickly through, Commissioner Goff is correct. That is a new record, so that's good. And that's representative of February, right? I think that would be for February. So 28 days, spent a lot of money in Dade County. I don't know, warm days, I guess, I'm not sure. 2021 SPLOST tracking worksheet is enclosed next. As you can see, we're on track for expenses. Nothing has been expensed under the fire departments as of yet. Sounds like they may be utilizing some funds for the new project over on the hill. And then you saw the next one is the 2015 SPLOST tracking worksheet. as well. And again, it has not changed at all, I don't believe, since last month. And the final report is from the tax commissioner as of through March 31st. We have budgeted $5,495,500. She's collected $5,086,617. So that's right at 92.56% collection. That concludes the report.
Okay. Any questions, comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve our financial report as presented by Don Townsend. I have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve is read.
Okay, Mr. Goff. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hartline. Have a motion second, call a vote. Mr. Lowry.
Yes.
Mr. Hartline.
Yes.
Mr. Goff.
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford.
Yes.
And chair votes yes. Thank you. All right. The reading of the minutes of our last regular meeting and any special call meeting will not be required since all commissioners have been furnished with copies in advance. Minutes are public record and available for view in the county commission office. Minutes are included in our consent agenda and will be considered for approval after Mr. Townsend goes over the consent agenda. So, Mr. Townsend, please, if you would.
All right, we have on the consent agenda the approval of the agenda as amended by adding items number 12 and 13, which was 12 is elections building update and 13 was recycling center update by Commissioner Lamar Lowry. Approval of previous meeting minutes, the review of the personal status report, the under boards appointments and proclamations. We have a joint proclamation with the City of Trenton for Respect for Law Week of May 14th through the 20th, and more particularly May the 2nd. It was celebrated here in Dade County. Proclamation for National Day of Prayer, May the 4th. Proclamation for Foster Care Month, May 2023. Proclamation for Armed Forces Day, the 3rd Saturday of May. Proclamation for National Travel and Tourism Week, and sponsored by Dade Alliance for May 2023. Resolution R-21-23, appointment of a member to the Georgia Region 1 Emergency Medical Services Council, and that's Mr. Kyle Gross for a term of 7/1/23 through June 30th, 2000. I wrote 23, but it's 26. Maybe around 26. And that's effective actually is immediately all right. Resolution, appointment of a member to the Dade County Water and Sewer Authority Board to fill the unexpired term of a member, and that was under R-23-23. Mr. Tony Payne to fulfill that unexpired term through December 31st, 2023. We have Dade County Jail Administration under the approval of SPLOST for a purchase of 10 Motorola body-worn camera systems as proposed by Captain Joseph Chambers for a total of $13,895. Upgrade under approval of American Rescue Plan. We have an upgrade of Dade County information technology infrastructure and provide for backup servers. And storage is presented by Mr. Alex Case awarded to Lightfoot Technologies, LLC of Ooltewah, Tennessee, for 4 server systems totaling $75,034.10. Approval of GovOS software and services proposal for short-term rental solutions and business license solution for a total of $41,140.57. Icon commode flush valves for the jail as proposed by Captain Joseph Chambers. Agreed to seek local plumber, but authorized dealer installation if not available. I hope I said that right. And for the purchase of 4 DC controllers and 12 flush valves along with miscellaneous parts, and for a total of $5,655.28, but that does not include the installation. That's just the parts. And then let's see, Historic Courthouse Renovation Project, the report of Mr. Jamie Blevins. The resolution R-22-23, sale and or disposal of county capital equipment is declared surplus property. ongovdeals.com, which is 3 HVAC units formerly used at the Extension Agency, and also the lawnmower/tractor unit. That'll be there live tomorrow. And just the announcement of a public hearing on Thursday, June 8th, for the consideration of the FY24 budget, and a special call meeting on Thursday, June 15th, for consideration of approval of the FY24 budget, both to be held at 5 p.m. in this room.
Okay. Any questions, comments, or corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda as presented. I have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
You got it? Okay, thank you. Mr. Lowry. I have a motion second. We'll call a vote. Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
And Chair votes yes, okay. Robin, you got any legal matters? I kind of overlooked that. I didn't want to leave you out there, son, just to.
Do not, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
all right. No legal matters, and y'all got anything under new or unfinished you want to bring up? Anything that we?
I mean,
No, there's one other feller that shares a birthday with me, and most of us know him as Patrick Hickey.
Oh,
His birthday's today too,
Oh,
so
really? Okay.
Patrick, if you're listening, may the 4th be with you.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to both of you. I tell you, that's
remember that now.
all right. No executive session. Y'all got anything you want to add to the meeting or anything?
We'd like to say we've got some kids going to track team to sectionals Saturday. They're way down below Atlanta, but we got several athletes and relay teams going to that, so we wish them the best if they win there or get it placed so high they get to go to state and another week, which would be in Rome.
Okay, good. All right, if there's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Call a vote. Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Ms. Bradford?
Yes.
And Chair votes yes. Meeting adjourned. Thank all of you for being here and staying with us.